Detroit scored 4 unanswered goals to storm back once again. First, it was Ben Sherratt finding the back of the net for the first time this season. Then Alex DeBrincat got his second goal in as many games to give the Wings a 2-1 lead after 20 minutes. In the second period, it was Dylan Larkin and Elmer Soderblom that scored less than 2 minutes apart to extend Detroit's lead. Despite giving up 1 goal in the third, Larkin scored his second goal of the game on an empty netter in the final 2 minutes to seal the win. He now leads the team with 8 goals and 8 assists, ranking third in the NHL in both points with 16 and goals with 8. He's also second league-wide in plus-minus so far this year at +9. After a rough 21-point loss on Monday, the Pistons take the floor again tonight against the Orlando Magic. They will tip off right here in Detroit at 7 o'clock. You can catch it right here on the ticket. Elsewhere in the NBA last night, the Bucks downed the Knicks 121-111 behind 37 points from Giannis Antetokounmpo, and the Thunder improved to 5-0 with another close win over the Kings 107-101. SGA had 31. The reigning NBA champs are miraculously undefeated this year despite shooting a stark 27.9% from three-point range, which ranks dead last in the association so far. And in the World Series, the Blue Jays utilized a home run from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. off Shohei Ohtani for a 6-2 win to even the series. Their win guarantees at least a Game 6, which means this will be the first season in MLB history that both started and ended outside the United States. This season kicked off in Tokyo this year with the regular season game between the Dodgers and Cubs. At the Corewell Health Sports Desk, I'm Brendan Shabath. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or visit Odyssey.com.
Good morning, 97.1. Hanging out on a Wednesday, Jim Costa, John Jansen, Heather Park, Gov and Greg behind the glass.
Good morning, friend.
Good morning.
How's it going?
I'm good.
Is that acceptable?
Pal. No, it's fine. Your welcomes are always fine.
Don't overthink it. Don't. She's in your head.
Yeah, well, that's usually on Fridays.
Yeah, don't let that be every day that ends in a Y.
Well, I mean, just trying to find different ways to greet you in the morning that might be as acceptable without being chastised.
He is your friend, right?
Yes.
Buddy and pal.
Yes.
Yeah, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
I don't think I've ever said, good morning, pal.
No, but that's what I hear when you say friend. It's the same thing.
Are you jealous? Do you want to be called?
No, I'm
Buddy?
not at all.
Yeah. Good morning, Heather.
That's perfect.
How's your night, bud?
No.
That sounds more dreamy.
Let's stay away from that.
Yeah.
Fun night if you're a Red Wing fan.
Hell yeah.
There you go. That's another win here as they kick off this road trip, and I'd say that's the best road game they've played all season. And now they're going to need a lot more of them because they've got 4 straight coming up on the road here as they get further and further out west.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, so, okay, Tom said this the other day, right? They go on a 2-game road trip, Buffalo and New York, come away with no points. And if 4 points available, you get 0. We thought, maybe if you just come back with 2. Mm-hmm. All right, St. Louis is in the books. They've got 4 on the road, L.A., Anaheim, San Jose, and Vegas. I would anticipate that of the 3, you would think San Jose, that should be 2 points, right?
Yes.
Okay. Of the what's the goal for this? What should be the goal for this team? And don't say 8 points.
No.
Okay, yeah, I know that's the goal, but
I don't know. Maybe I'm setting the bar too low. 4 points in 4 games.
Okay.
You're going out west. Hold serve. Hold your water.
Well, what they did the last 2 games, they salvaged what the debacle was last week on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
In Buffalo and New York. So, and I think it's interesting to ask. We're 10 games in now, right?
Yes, 7-3 hockey team,
and they're second in the East in points. There's a few teams at 16. Same over in the West. There's a few at 16. Dylan Larkin's got 16 points. That's second in the NHL. He's outperforming what he typically does. He's a +9. Is this something or nothing?
Okay, well, let's put a pin in that real quick. And just I'd like to get, because you've been pretty spot on with the number of points you think it'll need to get in the playoffs on a yearly basis. Now, it's a little bit early to predict that right now, but you mentioned that 2 East Coast road trip, 2 games, 4 points. They came away with 0. You thought they should have come back with 2. They're on the West Coast now for 4 games, 8 points available. What do you think they should come home with in this West Coast trip?
5.
Okay. All right.
I said 4.
You got to be reasonable here.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's why I'm asking. All right. So now let's get to your question with Dylan Larkin. 16 points. He's on pace for.
Here we go.
No. I'm just ask the question. All right. Because we all know it's a hot start. He's probably going to cool off a little bit throughout the course of the season. So, I mean, he's on pace for 115?
Yeah, so not to recreate the Smarm alarm moment from out there before we came on the air. Tom asked, do you think he'll have a 100-point season? His career high is like 79.
Yes.
He's flirted with a point per game season. I said to you, I go, how many 100-point seasons did Pavel Datsyuk have? 0. How many did Henrik Zetterberg have? 0. And I know scoring's up more today than when those guys played, but I told you, no, I don't think he's having a 100-point season. That doesn't mean I'm trying to take anything away or be a negative guy.
Right. That's not where I wanted to go with this.
I think Dylan Larkin looks energized and rejuvenated, and I thought he's, in addition to the point totals, because everyone's going to point out, wow, only Eichel and McKinnon have more points. It's also the fact that he's playing good two-way hockey. I think about the game they played against the Oilers where McDavid didn't get on the score sheet. Like, Larkin is playing the best hockey of his career. And by the way, that shouldn't be a surprise. Like, he's entering the stretch of hockey where this should be his peak. These should be his best professional years as an NHL player.
So something or nothing. I think it's something, but I don't think it's 100-plus points something. I think he's probably, instead of being a career best 79, I think he'd flirt with 90.
Yeah, I'm thinking right now 94, 95 points is reasonably on the table.
Yeah.
He's doing this without Patrick Kane half the season so far.
Here's another way of framing this. Is he a number one center? Because a lot of people have fought the idea, can you win with Larkin? He's not a number one center. He's playing like a number one center.
Yeah, I mean, I've been critical of him. I know. I've flirted with the idea of trading him just to shake things up in the offseason, and I'm not going to sit here and not give a guy credit when he's playing great hockey and looks like a different player so far this season. And if he's a 90-plus point player and everything else is the same, this is a playoff team.
Well, and that's the other part of your something or nothing. With the start where you win 7 of your first 10 hockey games, are they a playoff team? Look, we're not even into MARCH. We don't know how they're going to handle a deadline.
Don't recant your previous statement.
No, I'm not. We don't know how they're going to handle road trips, plural. This is the first of 2 West Coast trips before Christmas. They're going to make this trip out to the West Coast with California and Vegas. They're also going to make a separate trip to Western Canada, I believe, in early December. Like, they're going to hit a rough patch here. And I don't know how they handle several of these rough patches. So, no, I'm not willing to go anywhere near a playoff prediction right now.
Okay.
So, Todd McClellan was obviously was fed up with it on Saturday, right?
Yeah.
I mean, is that a turning point that this team was going to start falling back into one of its stupid holes that it did? So far, it's responded. Since it was 4-0, they've outscored the Blues 11-2, right? 6 and then 5.
Okay, yeah. I believe the Blues are now on a 5-game losing streak. That was a back-to-back for the Blues. I don't think the Blues are a particularly good hockey team. To your point, though, if you lose the home game on Saturday to the Blues and then go on a 5-game road trip, then you're talking about taking on water. So they avoided the disaster. They kept the season on the rails, and now we see how they do on this road trip.
Yeah.
Do you think it's something?
I think it's a little something. I do. I think Dylan Larkin probably has responded to offseason criticism and upped his game to where he has to show up every night. He's got to be a leader.
Yeah.
Maybe he's becoming the captain before our eyes.
Well, if he's going to wear the C, this is how you need to start, but it needs to continue throughout the course of the year. And again, it doesn't have to be on a pace for 110. It just needs to be able to be consistent throughout the course of 82 games.
Yeah, I think there's still going to be questions about what they do on defense. They're shuffling stuff up. They start the game last night with Sherratt, with Pellikka. Maybe that ends up working. You saw a little more of Seider and Edvinsson together. I don't know if that'll be an all-season thing. They're going to have to be steady on the blue line. I did listen to McClellan after the game last night, and he talked about they spent 2 practices working on defensive assignments and responsibilities, and I think that is ultimately the bedrock of whether this team is going to be playing like a playoff team late in the season.
But this is not if the defense has a problem here.
No, it didn't last night is my point. Now that's going to have to stay that way.
Right, but if it doesn't, you don't have to wait till the deadline to make a trade. Like, go add a third or fourth guy out there if this young defense can't play consistently, because you have something.
Right. But so you don't have to wait. You're right. You can make that trade anytime you want. But you also have more options when you get closer to the trade deadline, or at least 3 or 4 weeks from it, because other teams know what direction they're headed and if they're going to be sellers or not. Versus right now, and you could look at a couple teams and say, yeah, they should be selling now. But your options will be more open the closer you get to the trade deadline, which is why people wait.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm still in a wait-and-see mode with this team.
Yeah.
But to each their own. I mean, look, I'm not telling anybody not to be excited. Like, that's a fun win last night. That's the best they've looked on the road all year. DeBrincat scored in back-to-back games. Nice to get him on the score sheet. He's had chances. Good to see him get those paid off. I like seeing, we talk about using their size. How many times we get callers when we talk hockey and they go, this team needs to play to their size. Rasmussen feeding Soderblom in front of the net. Little big guys around the net creating chances and ultimately giving them the fourth goal last night. Like, there's things to like. There's plenty to like about this hockey team right now.
And I tell you what, the thing I probably like the most has been Todd McClellan. In the fact that he's not following my philosophy of letting it play out. He addressed things after game one.
Yep.
He addressed things last week or weekend, right? And it's just, he's not going to sit there and say, well, they'll eventually get it. It's not the, oh, shucks, Derek Lalonde,
long season.
Yeah, it's a long season. He seems to be a coach, and I kind of think we knew this when Steve Yzerman brought him in. It's a little hard to drop the hammer at different times throughout the course of the season when you come in after Christmas. But now that he's had that training camp, the players know what to expect from him, and he set that tone after game one. He said it again after they dropped a couple of games on the road. Like, he is addressing the issues, and honestly, that's what I like the most. He's holding this team accountable.
Wings have 14 points through 10 games, 7-3. It's a good start. When we had Yzerman on, he had said, even after 5-1, that they hadn't played a particularly great brand of hockey yet, and had pointed out they hadn't really hit the road. I mentioned that's the best road game they played last night. It was against the team on a back-to-back that's just not very good in St. Louis. The teams they're about to play, I mentioned the Wings have 14 points. They're going to face the Golden Knights on this stretch. They have 15 points. They're going to play the Ducks, who only have 11, but a winning record. They've only played 9 games. They're going to face the Kings, who have 13 points. Like, they're going to face much better hockey teams, and in the case of this trip, a back-to-back in there as well on the road. We're going to know so much more. I'd feel so much more confident saying something a week from today, because I just don't know how this road trip's going to go, and it's why I set the bar, hey, level, 4 points in 4 games. Yeah. Don't lose 3 of 4, don't lose 4 of 4, because then, John, they're going to come back, and they'll have a chance to win some games. Just don't have your season teeter early.
Right, or it may just be as simple as, and I'll go with your usage of words. Can you win 2, get 4 points, and then steal a point?
There you go.
On the road.
There you
Can
go.
you come back with what Tom said, 5?
Bingo. That's exactly what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
They'll earn it, John.
Well, I know. Yes. Yeah. Thank you for throwing that back in my face.
Everything's earned. You can never steal anything in sports.
Yes, but if you're on the road, then that's why I went with your words.
I appreciated that, John. 248-539-9797. Just taking a snapshot in time with this hockey team. Good win last night. Something or nothing to start this team's off to. It's 97-1.
Hey, Detroit, it's Heather here with some big news. Verizon, America's best 5G network, wants you to bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill, and they'll give you a better deal. If you think Verizon is expensive, well, think again. Not only does Verizon let you lock in your low price for 3 years, everyone in the family can mix and match their plans with My Plan. And everyone can get the same great phone deals when they trade in an eligible phone in any condition on My Plan. That means new and existing customers. That's more reasons to save, more reasons to switch. Bring in your AT&T or T-Mobile bill to your local Detroit Verizon store, and they'll give you a better deal. Rankings based on Root Metrics United States Root Score Report dated first half 2025. Your results may vary. Must provide a postpaid customer mobile bill dated within the past 45 days. Bill must be in the same name as the person redeeming the deal. 3-year price lock applies to then current base monthly rate. Additional terms apply to promotional offers. See www.verizon.com/switch-2-verizon/.
Going to the dentist doesn't have to be a pain. Not with Brightside Dental. The Brightside experience. No lectures about what you're doing wrong with your teeth. Instead, a comfortable, painless experience. Take it from me. I've gotten some work done, cavities filled. They'll numb you up. They communicate every step of the way, and it doesn't have to be scary. They've got 9 Metro Detroit locations, including one right around the corner from you. $35. That's all it's going to take as a new patient. Covers your exams and your x-rays with no hidden fees. So make an appointment. Get back in that routine. 1-800-PAINLESS. BrightsideDental.com. Tell them Jim Costa and the Morning Show sent you. That's Brightside Dental. No judgment, just care. Five-two final. Ken Cal on the call. Wings pick up a road win, part of this 5-game road trip. Probably their best road performance of the year. Going to need more of them. DeBrincat on the score sheet, back-to-back games. Dylan Larkin, 16 points through 10 games, and the Wings are 7-3. Some ticket text on something or nothing to the hot start. Remember, Larkin called out Yzerman to get help for the playoffs. Maybe Yzerman called him out and said you need to play harder, meaning Larkin, and he's answered. Possible.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of those hard conversations certainly had to happen after the season last year.
Guys, it's nothing right now. They've proven over the last several years they'll fade down the stretch, and they don't have what it takes to make that final push. Larkin and his team always fade. I hope this is the year they change it. Signed, Steven.
So it's, if you want to compare this to what we're talking about with the Lions, is the last couple of years, right? Good team, right? But you get to the playoffs and you fall to the Commanders. Like, we won't know, and we won't have our answers until we get to the postseason. And for the Wings, it's just going to be a little bit earlier than that. First of all, hey, can you get to the postseason? And it's how can you play in March when you've had 9-point leads going into March and it just dissipates.
Yeah, and we had Yzerman on it. He didn't flaunt their 5-1 start. There's a lot of work this team's going to have to do between now and the finish line. Mm-hmm. Text says, don't get excited about Larkin, Mr. October, who disappears after the All-Star game. Perfect time to trade him for defensive players. Go Blue Dave.
Going to trade Dylan Larkin right now?
Captain and your highest scoring player and the leader. And
yeah. Trade J-Mo!
With the second half of the Tiger season still fresh, I'm having a hard time saying the start is something. I'm a damaged Detroit sports fan, unnamed texter.
I'm sure there's a lot of that. There are a lot of damaged and injured Detroit sports fans, especially after the baseball season, the last couple of, I'm not buying in, I'm just going to say it, marches that the Wings have had, or lack of marching.
That's MARCH for you. Let's get to Adam in Gibraltar. It's like your dog. You take them to the VET. Or you take them for an WALK. You don't want to get them too excited or hopped up or too scared. It's MARCH.
Yeah, and for you, it's DUMBASS.
Adam, good morning.
Good morning. I had to pause for a second to let you guys finish.
yeah. Finish spelling. At least I spelled it right.
You did.
This
I'm
time.
proud of you.
Yeah.
So, but I think McClellan, I want to say it's something. It's a really small sample something, just because McClellan has created this sense of urgency with this young hockey team.
Yep.
And last year coming in, he came in probably 2 or 3 weeks later than what Lalonde should have been fired. Last year I think was kind of like a feeling out point for McClellan with this team. I feel like he had really no expectations since they were behind the 8 ball. But coming into this year, I think he created that sense of urgency with this team, considering the fact 2 years ago, mind you, we were out of a playoff spot by a point. And if you remember, we lost bad games to bad teams early on in the year. And I remember it like it's yesterday. We lost to San Jose. We were up, I think, 4 or 5-1, and then ended up losing 6-5. That was a crucial game, but he's created a sense of urgency, and I say it's a little small sample size of something because this team is young, and they have rookies, and they're not playing their best hockey. So once they build that chemistry through the mid-season, I feel like, depending on where they're at, I feel like they will gel as a unit, because in hockey, chemistry is very, very important, I feel like, concerning like any other sport. Like chemistry is important, but he's created this sense of urgency with this team early on to where it's like, hey, you need to get these points when you can, because we've seen them. They can go on 4, 5, 6 game winning streaks. But what happens right after? They go on a 3, 4, or 5 game losing streak. They cannot do that. And that's what McCullough has kind of like niched into their mind. Like,
you're right. And as soon as he sees like a sign of weakness, he swoops in. And you're right. He's helped create that. I think your word is urgency. Yeah, there's urgency, even though it's only October.
Yeah, urgency, accountability, all of those things go hand in hand. And I do like what Adam said there at the beginning in regards to when he came in. Obviously, you come in, you want to win. And it's about finishing out the season. But for a new coach, for the new team, he had the opportunity to learn about all the guys that he was coaching instead of just, hey, I'm going to try and learn about this team as a new coach in training camp. He actually had real-time knowledge of how these guys are reacting throughout the course of the end of the season. So he was ahead of the game in terms of being a new coach on a new team.
He doesn't sugarcoat it. That message is consistent. I mean, he's one of the guys who talked about how they wilted at the end of last season. He didn't run from it, and not going to run from it this year. Going to nip it in the bud at every turn. All right, the football coverage on the show today is going to be brought to you by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. We'll get to the Power Surge at 6:35. Let's get to Heather with the news.
Well, on Friday, a grandpa was fatally stabbed by his grandchild's nanny in Royal Oak. It's a horrific story. And now the woman responsible has been charged. So the grandpa was actually asked by his daughter to go check on his grandchild, right? She was out of town. The child was staying with the nanny. Yeah. Couldn't get a hold of the nanny. Said, I'm going to call my dad, have him go over, make sure everything's okay. Dad goes over to check on the child, and that's when he was attacked by this nanny, stabbed multiple times with screwdrivers. Well, because the dad never got a hold of his daughter, she got worried again and said, you know what, I better call my brother-in-law. Please go check on now, not only my dad and my child and the nanny, but so the brother-in-law went over. That's when he found the dad brutally attacked. He was able to grab the child, but she tried to attack them too. He had to run with this child basically for safety.
What the
this
hell's
woman
wrong
was
with this
deranged.
woman?
She was in a manic state. She stripped off all her clothes right there.
What?
She admitted that she did it. She has been taken into custody. She's facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder and second-degree child abuse. They did find drugs in her purse, some psychedelic drugs, and marijuana, I believe, in her purse. But yeah, it sounds like she's still in this manic state because I don't think she's even left her jail cell. When she went to be sentenced, she was still naked and refused to leave. Wild and horrific all around. A teen may be facing some charges after crashing his motorcycle after kind of showing off, popping a wheelie in front of Michigan State Police. Yeah, so according to police, troopers saw a motorcyclist stopped in the roadway, and this was on Tuesday, and obviously pulled up to this motorcyclist, approached them, and said, hey, what's going on? He said, I'm just practicing. Then, while troopers were speaking to this one guy, another motorcyclist, a 17-year-old, approached the officer from behind, popped a wheelie, revved the engine, right, kind of showing off a little bit, took off when they were trying to pull him over, and then he ended up crashing.
Play dumb games, you win dumb prizes.
Treated for minor injuries, was released to his father. The case is now forwarded to the prosecutor's office for possible charges. A fan is in critical condition after falling from the upper deck during an NHL game. Did you hear about this?
did.
It happened at the Pittsburgh, the PPG Paints Arena. This was during the Penguins Blues game. It happened right away. It was right after the Penguins scored their second goal. It was 55 seconds into the first period. Right?
Holy cow.
Really crazy. And fans say that there was a man in a Penguins jersey. He stumbled down several stairs before falling into and tumbling headfirst over the glass onto the level below. Police say he then fell into the suite level, hit another person before dropping another level onto a walkway. Fan was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. And of course, this isn't the first time something like this has happened in the area. They had that other fan,
the Pirates fan
at PNC Park, who was in critical condition after falling.
He actually lived and is recovering.
Yes,
right?
he is recovering. I'm sure he still. I'm sure. I mean,
He probably still has
I haven't done updates
few
on that
injuries.
guy yet, but I think he lived though. But
Yeah.
God, crazy. Hurricane Melissa made landfall in Jamaica on Tuesday as a Category 5 storm with winds reaching 185 miles per hour, strongest hurricane ever to hit the island. Obviously, with that came flooding, life-threatening storm surges, wind damage. But they do say the rain is what's going to cause a lot of the issues because could reach as much as 40 inches of rain, which is going to
Holy
cause
moly.
obviously wild landslides, flooding, mudslides. Pretty crazy. So the storm has now weakened. It has moved on. It's a Category 3. Well, it made landfall in eastern Cuba as a Category 3 storm. There, about 735,000 people have been evacuated. Crazy, right?
40 inches of rain. That's crazy.
It's wild. Finally, this could be the day that aliens arrive.
Oh,
Just be
it's
aware.
today.
Today is
Oh, is this
the day.
the 3-Eye Atlas Day?
It's a weird day. Apparently, a bunch of sites are claiming that aliens could make contact today. Apparently, there's this interstellar comet. Did you hear about
Oh, it's
this?
all over my TikTok feed.
Is it really?
Yes.
See-
Like my algorithm knows this is what I'm like obsessed with now.
Okay, well, be
So
prepared.
it's not prepared. It's not like a normal comet.
No, it's not.
We're not really
It's the
sure what it
mothership.
is. It could be. It could be the
Apparently,
mothership.
that's what some people think. Yes, and it's not close to us. It's actually on the other side of the sun. But that's apparently
Like the closest it's going to
what's
be.
going to happen is that they're going to use. There's a whole event, but they're
Gonna
going to
slingshot around the sun?
It's
I've always wanted to see something
That's
slingshot around the sun. So I'll
It's
ask
here.
the question I asked yesterday when we were talking about, what were we talking about? Zombies? The zombie
Yes.
apocalypse?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are confronted with an alien, how do you defend yourself?
well. Do you have to defend yourself, or can you just say hello?
Nice to
and
meet
shake
you.
hands? Yeah.
Welcome to Earth.
Diplomacy. Honestly, diplomacy might be our best method if they have this technology.
To slingshot around the
I
sun?
don't think we're winning with what we got here.
You never know. Maybe that's the best they got.
Then they don't know what to do once they land. Like, oh, that's all we
This is
had.
the only thing we planned.
Yeah.
So wait, there's people here?
Yeah. You never know.
You don't know.
We don't.
Today's the day.
I guess we'll find out, though.
Yep.
Do we have a time, like an estimate? Like, this is going to happen
No.
afternoon. I want to make
Well,
sure
I
have
guess
lunch.
I got to go on your TikTok and look. I haven't studied it that much. I don't
So
think
I've
so.
gotten
Costa with
everything.
the update.
I've gotten everything from like people who are very scientific and are playing it safe to the full blown nut jobs who like are convinced the aliens are coming today.
Oh. So, I again, was there an ETA? Just today?
No,
It
just
does-
I think it's
today
just-
is when we're
Okay.
going to get the most
We can-
information on whatever
if they
this
were that
is.
sophisticated, they would at least let us know, hey, it's going to be 12:45.
It's going supposedly in and out of our solar system, but if it veers off anywhere, today's our best chance
it's also
to get
like
a look
the size
at
of
it.
Manhattan. So this is
Yes.
a big comet.
It's the Martian Cable Company. They can just give you a window 9 till 5
9
a.m.
to 5.
p.m.
Okay, 9 to 5.
Okay.
Yes, that's
Exactly.
when they'll arrive. Yeah.
Heather with the news. Power Surge next, 97.1.
Hey, NBA's kicking off, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. Even if you've missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay, put down a little, and you got a shot at a bigger payout. However you want to play, now's the perfect time to join because FanDuel is giving all new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/971 Detroit to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com/971 Detroit. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over in present Michigan. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Who's the best in the NFL?
What do we do with what we have? And the sample size only continues to grow. And so just to recap from last week, week 8, Detroit was 1, Indy 2, Philly was 3, Buffalo 4, Kansas City 5, and the Rams were at 6. And so with the new results that we have, and I'm going to go a little bit deeper into some of the wins and losses that these teams have, and I've got 3 tiers that are just on the outside looking in. The bottom tier, and so I think the playoff field is starting to be set.
Yes.
And if you're looking at, I'm not going to go through all the divisions, but I think in the AFC, the division that gets 3 teams in, AFC West, it's probably going to be Denver, the Chargers, and Kansas City.
No argument here.
Not shocking there. And in the NFC, I think there is a division that gets 3 in, but it's not the North, because I don't think the Bears are actually going to do it, and certainly the Vikings aren't this year. I think it's the West, with Seattle way outperforming what I thought they would be, but they're playing and they're showing some consistency. The Rams in San Francisco. So looking at the bottom third of the teams that are just on the outside looking in, Carolina trying to figure out if they're for real or not. They're at 4-4 right now. Pittsburgh 4-3, Chicago 4-3. They kind of all feel like they're similar.
Yep.
Also similar teams. San Francisco and the Chargers.
Yes.
Both 5-3. And the Chargers have been brutalized by injuries. And
both of them have.
Yeah. And so they're just trying to really figure things out, hold things together. Hopefully some guys come back and they can get some good performances. But both of them in those tough divisions that I just talked about. The teams just on the outside looking in and could make moves as recently as this coming week, depending on what happens in the top 6. You've got Seattle at 5-2, Tampa Bay at 6-2, Green Bay 5-1-1, tie. Denver 6-2, New England 6-2. New England may be the biggest surprise to me this year.
Well, Drake May has taken such a big leap.
Yeah,
wait,
you asked the question the other day.
Is he a franchise quarterback?
Yeah, and I said, of course he is.
Yeah.
And I think...
he's cementing it every week.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. You don't have the Packers in the power search.
No, I don't. I didn't have them in last week, and I don't have them in this week.
5-1-1.
Right.
Still not in.
Still not in. No. Okay. And so, number 6, I've got the Rams. Their best wins are over the Colts and the Ravens. Their 2 losses are Eagles and Niners. They average about 25 points a game. And defensively, they're actually playing pretty good, too. I think they're top 5 in defensive points allowed per game, right around 19. And this week, they play the Saints. So not going to learn a lot about them this week. Buffalo is at number 5. Buffalo's 5-2. Their best win is against the Ravens. And other than that, okay, they don't have a really good win. Patriots and Falcons are their 2 losses. And they've got Kansas City. They're hosting Kansas City. And I kind of commandeered the Greg Palm game. This is the Power Surge game of the week because it's Kansas City and Buffalo. And that also brings us to number 4, which is actually Kansas City. They are 5-3. Their best wins are Baltimore, and we know Detroit. Their 3 losses, the Chargers, the Eagles, and the Jacksonville Jaguars. That one kind of still sticks. And I know that was before Rashee Rice was back. They're obviously at the Bills this week. Philly is at number 3. And I don't know that I think as highly of them as Tom does, but
Mr. Philadelphia.
Yeah, Mr. Philadelphia, yeah. They're 6-2. They've got 3 really good wins, the Chiefs, the Rams, and the Bucks. Their 2 losses, the Broncos and the Giants. They're at Green Bay after their bye. And so we won't know obviously much about them this week, but I don't think they'll move around very much. Kansas City, I'm sorry, I jumped around there. Kansas City is at 4. Baltimore, Detroit, they play at the Bills. I started talking about Philly. They're at number 3. Chiefs, Rams, Bucks is their 3 best wins. They've got the bye and then Green Bay. All right, their 2 losses, Broncos and Giants. That Giants one is tough to get over, but it's a division opponent.
Look, Philly's starting to wake up offensively. The last 2 weeks, the pass game and then the run game last week.
And that's the one thing that I think is real. The run game, to utilize Saquon Barkley like he was utilized last year, and I don't think he's not always gonna have a 2,000-yard season, but he needs to be a major part of that offense. It's starting to wake up. The offensive line is starting to gel, and it's really only one position. I know they've been a little banged up, but that right guard position, we're talking about the Lions with the two guards. Like it's been difficult for them to get one guy to play like they had last year. Number 2, the Indianapolis Colts, 7-1, and this one's really tight. I considered moving them up to 1, but Detroit didn't play, so it's hard to take a loss in a bye week. So I've got them at 7-1. They're at number 2. Their best wins: Broncos, Chargers. Their loss is against the Rams, and that was on the road in L.A. They are a machine offensively. 33.8 points per game. We talk about the Lions' offense, and I mean, the Lions have played better defenses than Indy has played. That's why I still have Indy at number 2. But they are, on both sides of the ball, dynamic, and they don't punt the ball very much. Their offense is playing at a high level. Detroit, I still have at number 1. Best wins are against the Rams and the Bucks. Their two losses we all know very well. It was a disaster against Green Bay and then Kansas City, and we know that coming back after the bye week, they've got the Vikings. So I don't know that we won't learn a whole lot about these top teams other than Kansas City and Buffalo, because they play each other. Green Bay's on a bye, and the Rams are playing the Saints, and obviously Detroit's playing the Vikings, and the Indy's playing the Steelers. So not great matchups in the top 6, but there could be whatever happens to Kansas City and Buffalo. All right, one of those teams could get bumped out, and then you're looking at possibly Green Bay making that move in, or New England making that move into next week's power surge.
Yeah, Green Bay not a bye this week. They have Carolina,
right.
But
correct.
I mean, touchdown favorite should get that done.
Yeah.
I think you could put Green Bay in over Buffalo right now. And if Buffalo beats Kansas City, then of course you reward the Bills. But the Bills don't have, they have one more loss than the Packers do. And the Packers beat the Lions.
They have a half more loss.
Fine. They have a half more loss. And the Packers have a more notable win than any win the Bills have. The Packers beat your number 1 team, and yet they're not in the power surge.
Yeah, but they also lost to the Browns.
The Cleveland Browns.
And they don't play well on the road. So that's part of it. And again, we'll find out more about Buffalo and KC this week, and I'm assuming those are going to be in the picks this week.
Yeah, we'll have Buffalo and Kansas City in the picks this week. Absolutely.
So
spread's like 1.5, basically a pick 'em. Should be a good one. Feedback. What do we like? What do we not like?
Again, it's the same as last week. The Colts are number 1 right now. They've earned it. They've been dominant. I'm not going to hold schedules against them and divisions against them because they're dominating. That's the thing. And their one loss is to the Rams, who I think is a good team. Look, my takeaway this week is, who is 6?
Right.
Is it the Rams or is it the Packers? And I would put the Packers right now. I was impressed with their win on Sunday night. So
double-digit road win against a team with a winning record.
Bottom line is they have the second best record in football. I just, at this point, I would put.
They got to be in the top 6.
Yeah.
Well,
I kick Buffalo out.
Yeah, you go to their loss, and you go to how they've played on the road, and I'm just not ready to say that they've proven enough that they could be a team that wins on the road as well as they can at home.
Well, they just win on the road, right? I mean, that's part of the case. Is they went into Pittsburgh.
So we'll see next week. Maybe they'll find a way into the power surge.
They may, because you have Philly and Buffalo, and someone's going to lose that game. I suppose they could tie.
Well, I've got Kansas City and Buffalo.
Sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Kansas City and Buffalo who play. Yeah. Someone's going to lose that game. It may open the door for the Green Bay Packers. Yeah. This is a ticket text. Tom rushed in here. Not sure if you guys care, but the Rams have not beaten any NFC team this season. Is that true?
That is fact.
Their 5 wins are against the AFC South and Baltimore,
who didn't have Lamar.
Correct.
And that was an ugly ball game, 17-3.
Well, they'll get a chance. They'll get a win against an NFC opponent this week because they're playing the Saints.
That's the first sign. I told you guys before the season, the one thing to look out for is the NFC West owning the AFC South and how it would create probably not true records for teams.
Yeah.
Make an extra win.
Yep. Seattle, San Francisco.
So one of the other reasons why I picked Detroit over Indianapolis is the fact that they've shown that even through injuries, the depth of this team, I believe, is better than the depth at Indianapolis. Indianapolis hasn't really been hit with any injury or significant injuries to this point. And I do still think that Detroit's schedule, the 5-2 for their schedule, is better than what Indy has at 7-1 with their schedule.
And there's just the Daniel Jones cloud hanging over. And I think because of what Sam Darnold did last year and then what happened in the end,
Right.
people are holding that against Daniel Jones. I think Daniel Jones is outplaying Darnold by far from last year.
Oh, yeah. Well, you look at the throws that he's making, some of the windows he's throwing into, the deep balls that he's able to complete.
Maybe the Super Bowl this year is going to be Jones versus Saquon for Mike.
Could you imagine?
And the Giants will have the number 1 pick.
Hey, the game we're going to learn a lot more about the Colts. I mean, their schedule's favorable. Once we get in the month of November, they're going to go to Kansas City. They're going to play at Arrowhead.
Right. So
that's going to be a big credibility spot for them. For anybody who just doesn't buy the record, that'll be a spot for them to remove any doubts.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's the same. Indianapolis going out there is the same as Indiana going out to Oregon.
Exactly. Who would have thought? 2 of the best teams in the nation from the state of Indianapolis. Or the state of Indiana. Yeah. It's 97-1.
Hey, Dr. B at Michigan Hair Restoration is celebrating 30 years of helping men across Southeast Michigan restore their hair and their confidence. Over 3 decades, he's seen thousands walk in frustrated or skeptical and walk out looking younger and feeling like themselves again. Dr. Berkowitz isn't just a pioneer in hair restoration, he's a patient too. He's had the procedure himself and even performed it on his own son. That's how much he believes in the results and trusts his team. Every procedure is done by Dr. B and his full-time in-house medical team. There's no traveling techs, no rotating staff, just precision and natural results. He's the only physician in Detroit offering both SmartGraft and NeoGraft, these advanced, minimally invasive technologies that deliver real permanent hair. There's no plugs, stitches, or scars, just natural growth you can run your fingers through. Now, to mark his 30-year milestone, claim the Confidence Package. It's a free consultation plus $1,000 towards your procedure when you mention 97-1 the ticket. So if you've been thinking about doing something for yourself, this is your sign. Visit MichiganHairRestoration.com where your confidence grows back.
Good morning, 97.1. It's a Wednesday. We've got a chance for you to win Lions tickets later in the show. Name that Lion. We'll play along. We've got Dan Campbell, 8 o'clock. Lions head coach out of the bye week. John, your power surge, always good for generating a conversation.
Yeah.
Twitch comment says, Indy should be number 1, and Detroit shouldn't be 1 or even 2. They're not in first place in their division.
Yeah, because that stupid tie. But I do, there you could make arguments for all of those.
Well, but even if Green Bay had lost the game to Dallas, the game they tied, they'd have 2 losses like Detroit.
Right,
and they beat Detroit.
They have that ahead.
So Green Bay is in first place.
Yeah, but I think Green Bay, or I think Detroit plays better on the road, and they're more consistent in both locations than Green Bay has been.
Unless Green Bay's waking up with a 10-point win against Pittsburgh Steelers on the road last week. Look, the beauty of this is Detroit isn't going to be held to week 1. They're going to have Thanksgiving to right that wrong, but that is still a month away.
Well, and you look at this and you say, okay, well, how does Philly lose to the Giants?
Yeah.
That would be, I think, equal to the Lions if they were to drop this one to the Vikings this week. Now all of a sudden, that's a huge blemish. Like some of these teams just have that huge blemish on their record, and it's Green Bay has a huge blemish on their record.
You had Lions 1, Colts 2, Eagles 3, Chiefs 4, Bills 5, and Rams 6. Notably, Green Bay left out. For the doubts that center around the Lions, right? The guy that says they shouldn't be 1 or 2. For the people who don't view them maybe as a Super Bowl contender, what's holding you back? Like, no judgment. If you're a self-anointed Lions hater, you just don't see it. You have your doubts, however you would define that. What's holding you back? Like when you hear John put him number 1, and if you're kind of shaking your head, why are you shaking
even
your
if
head?
I put him at 4, they're still a Super Bowl contender.
There are people who don't feel that way, so I would like to try to get their feedback on this. 248-539-9797. I think they know where you stand, and I'm right there with you, by the way. I think this team is the best team in the NFC as we sit today. Expect this team to be in the Super Bowl, and nobody scares me in the AFC. So we are talking about a Super Bowl football team. But for those who don't see it the way we see it, like we are a show of discussion. What are we missing? What are you seeing? What's holding you back? What do they still need to prove to you? Because there are some big games coming up, right? They're going to face the Eagles in Philadelphia. They're going to face the Commanders, who dealt us that awful blow last year in the postseason. What do you need to see from the Lions? Maybe it's from a position group. Maybe it's from a player. Maybe it's a specific game that you're waiting to see. 248-539-9797.
The one thing I think would hold them back, and obviously I think they're a Super Bowl contender, the one thing that will hold them back, and I mentioned this yesterday, if Taylor Decker can't go for an extended length of time, if this shoulder issue becomes a bigger issue towards the end of the season, Skipper's not going to get it done. And if
not for 4 straight playoff games or 3 straight playoff games.
And if Manu can't even come back, like you're down to Skipper is your backup tackle on both sides. He's your swing tackle. If all of a sudden, God forbid, he goes down, now what are you doing? You got what is it, Awosika out there, or do you put one of the guards out there and put Awosika at guard? I mean, is what do you do? That's why yesterday I said the need, and I know you said, well, there's not a starter, it can't be a need. Yeah. Is to go out there and solidify that offensive line, bring in another tackle that is not looking for a starting tackle, but somebody that is more capable than Dan Skipper. And I'm not saying get rid of Skip. He's great as bringing in the extra offensive lineman. You want to go big, all that stuff. That's fine. But if he is forced to start in the last 10 games, 4 of them, that's a huge concern. If he has to start any game in the postseason, huge concern.
It's a red flag.
Yeah, I mean, just think if they play Green Bay in the postseason, you want him blocking Micah Parsons?
Or Rashawn Gary and how they can mix it up with those two guys on the edges. Yeah. Look, we learned this the hard way last year. It's a single elimination format. Doesn't matter if you were the better team in the regular season or if you have more all-pros or if your roster is chock full of stars. It's single elimination, man, and your weakness on the wrong day ends your season. What's holding you back? If you're someone sitting out there on the sideline, not quite in the Super Bowl party, viewing this team as a real Super Bowl contender, Let's get to Steve in Clinton Township. You're on 97.1.
Hi. I just don't think I love them, but I don't think they're number one only because their two losses were against Green Bay and Kansas City. They've looked kind of, not like a great team. Like I understand Campbell goes for, fourth downs and this and that, but last week he goes for the fourth down and then, St. Brown, he drops it, which he doesn't normally do. In the first half, they missed the field goal. Bates usually doesn't miss a field goal. They just look like they're flawed. And I love the Lions, and I want to believe it, but they just haven't, like proven yet. I understand they're going to play against, good teams coming up. But
well, so that's what I'd ask you. So is it, hey, they win in Philadelphia and Steve's on board, or they have to look a certain way? Like, what are you waiting to see?
A little more consistent, but definitely a win in Philadelphia, and then I'm on board. I'm like, okay, yeah, you guys obviously are the pros, but no more than me. But win in Philadelphia, definitely, because then they're going into Philadelphia Super Bowl champion, contender, and then yes, that proves it to me right there that they can go to the Super Bowl and win it.
At that point, Aleem McNeil will be in his fourth week back?
Yeah.
Should be peaking.
I also I want to make sure that we don't discredit some of their wins, because it feels like as soon as the Lions beat someone, it's all of a sudden, it's not a great win. And I know that Baltimore has fallen apart, especially with Lamar not being healthy. It sounds like he's going to be back this week. He's been full go at practice. But that win at Baltimore was a huge win. And the win against Tampa on Monday night was a huge win.
Those were primetime games against teams that I think are going to win their division. Those are playoff teams that the Lions played in primetime and handled their business and looked really good.
So my holdback would be, and why I put Philly ahead of them right now, and even when you go to the power rankings, the Colts is the offensive line, like John. And I fear that in this window of success over the last few years for the Lions, you go back to the end of 22 even, that is this really going to happen to us? That the strength is become the weakness, and it's going to cost them. That's like super cruel. And that might be my Lions history coming out, where really everything else was ready to click, and then it's the offensive line and the Ragnow retirement that cost them.
I'm not really that concerned about the interior of the offensive line. My major concern is the health of Taylor Decker.
Yeah, I know, but if he's here, then you are retooling potentially because of this. Like there's a snowball effect. I'll say this: I'm not blaming it on Ragnow necessarily. I'm in the moment. It is Decker concerns, but the overall thing is that one of the best offensive lines in football is what ends up costing them. It just didn't time out right, I will say what's encouraging to me is they're 8th in total offense and 8th in total defense.
Right.
When I looked up the defense, I was a little surprised by that. You know what? Super Bowl champions are usually top 10 in both.
Mm-hmm. Look, we're getting some good feedback, and we're asking for reasons, so I don't want to shout anybody down. If you have some concerns, if you're not quite there yet with the Lions, if you want to label yourself a Lions hater, fine. But even if you're just skeptical, what is it that's holding you back? It's 97.1.
Brought to you by University of Michigan Credit Union. The Red Wings improved to 7-3 this year with their second straight win last night. Ben Sherratt, Elmer Soderblom, Alex DeBrincat, and Dylan Larkin twice all scored for Detroit in a 5-2 triumph over the Blues. Despite back-to-back wins over St. Louis in the last 4 days, the Red Wings were much better last night than they were against those same Blues right here in Detroit on Saturday. But don't take it from me, take it from Dylan Larkin. The Wings are now off today before facing the Kings in Los Angeles tomorrow. The Pistons take on the Orlando Magic tonight at Little Caesars Arena. Orlando is led in scoring this year by Paolo Banchero, averaging 23 points per game in 4 outings this year. The Magic are off to a 1-3 start, having suffered 3 straight losses. Detroit is hoping to bounce back from Monday's dismal 21-point loss to the Cavs. Tip-off at 7 o'clock tonight right here on 97.1 The Ticket. After Shohei Ohtani's stellar performance in Monday's 18-inning Game 3 World Series thriller, Japan's finest was perhaps a little fatigued when he took the mound last night for Game 4. Shohei allowed 6 hits, 4 runs, 1 walk, and this swing from Vlad Guerrero Jr. Shohei also went 0 for 3 at the plate with 1 walk and 2 strikeouts. He ended a home streak of 17 plate appearances on base in the game. The Jays win it 6-2 as Ohtani gets the loss. Game 5 is set for 8 o'clock tonight in L.A. At the Corewell Health Sports Desk, I'm Brendan Shabath. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or visit Odyssey.com.
All right, we're going to get to the phones here in a second. Want to know from you if you're someone skeptical, you have doubts, you call yourself a Lions hater or not, what's holding you back from believing in this team as a Super Bowl team? Ticket Tech says, with the deadline approaching, I'd love to see Brad get some help on the offensive line to John's point. That's Joey in a van. They need to consistently beat top-tier teams like Green Bay and Kansas City. Right now, they're 2-2 against such teams. Anyone who says the Lions aren't in a select group of the top teams aren't looking at the rest of the teams in the league. Everyone has blemishes, many ugly blemishes. Every team has flaws. I guess when you have Daryl from Macomb calling in, this is what you get, Nick in Clarkston. Well, if you are Daryl in Macomb, call in and defend yourself. 248-539-9797. Let's get to Nick. You're on 97.1.
Good morning, guys. How are we?
What's up?
Good.
Good. So I'm not a Lions hater by any means. I love this team. I think right now they're a glass cannon where I think they're capable of beating any team that they come up against at any given week. But if any injury comes their way, I know it's next man up, but I think this team could fall apart. It's our depth chart has taken a big hit in the secondary and our offensive line. It seems like our only strongest, most stable core is our wide receivers right now. And if we could get a couple of key pieces, like in that offensive line or in that secondary, we could really just knock it out of the park.
So they didn't prove to you last week when, as you say, if they get a key injury, I mean, everyone in the secondary was out, yet they played well enough to get a win against a team that throws the ball around.
No, you're absolutely right. And I praise the defense for it. It's just how many times can that happen?
Well, it happened 15 times last year when the defense was just devastated with injuries up front, different position, but
you're right. And I don't want to, I'm not trying to doom and gloom.
No, and Nick, I don't want to accuse you of that. I actually just want to follow up. I'm not interrogating you. Is there a certain thing you need to see? Is it a certain game they need to win, a certain position group? You highlighted some of the areas they're banged up. What do you need to see to be like, hey, man, I'm right there with you guys. This team's winning the Super Bowl?
It might be the Commanders. I think if we can really put that behind us, and I think that we will, but if we can go in there and win and really exercise those demons from last year, there's nothing holding us back.
Appreciate it, Nick. Good stuff.
Like they did against Dallas last year,
the year before. Or even San Francisco the year before. They had something to prove in that spot. Remember, there was a spot they didn't need to win, but
but they went out there and they admitted that, hey, that one bothered them.
Yeah, it was intentional. Twitch says they'll be judged by Thanksgiving Day.
Green Bay.
Yeah. And a couple texts echoing it says, it's going to suck if we lose the North because of a stupid tie. And regardless of where you have the Lions or Green Bay, the Packers are winning the division. Their schedule is exponentially easier than Detroit, even though I think Detroit's the better team.
You can win the division because of the tie, too, by the way.
Right.
Simply, if each team wins out, you get to Thanksgiving, you beat them, you're ahead of them by the tie.
Yes.
Right.
Can I say something here just in what we're trying to do?
Yeah.
Everybody's either going to one extreme or the other. This is just constructive criticism. If you think the team has a flaw right now and therefore you don't have confidence, that doesn't make you a bad person.
No,
we're not saying,
and we're not vilifying anybody, by the way.
Right. It's just like, I think the way the world is right now, where one thing has to be 8 miles over here or 10 miles over here, and there can't be some middle ground here. That's what we're just trying to do.
Right, and we're able to discuss that, like the last caller that called in and said if there's an injury. Well, we had 3 injuries and a suspension last week, and so I'm just trying to point out where I think, where I'm coming from, not necessarily in terms of the power surge, but in terms of the obstacles that this team has been able to overcome.
Let's get to Duncan in Detroit. Duncan, good morning.
Good morning. What's going on, fellas?
Good morning.
So I'm an optimist. So my first thing is Lee McNeil being back. I don't know how many people don't remember how great we was with defense last year before him and Hutch went down.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's going to disrupt that pocket, get a quarterback no time to throw, and I think that's going to help our defense tremendously. My only knock is I'm worried about Jared Goff not throwing the ball to J-Mo deep. He doesn't do it. I can't understand why. Like, he's a 4.2, most DBs is not as fast as. Give him a try. Give him a chance. And I think at least twice a game, and they open up the offense even more.
There's another gear to this offense, and it's one where he's featured. We've taken phone calls on J-Mo a couple days in a row here now. They got to protect up front. John, to your point about making sure they're stable up front.
Yeah.
And those shot plays are going to come.
So here's what I'm taking out of that. I'm reminded of John Madden had this rule with Randy Moss. He said, I would throw it up to him twice a quarter. Before it was a thing, F it, Randy Moss down there somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, are we saying that Jameson Williams is to that level of Randy Moss? And look, Madden said, hey, look, that's 8 times a game. So, no, I don't think we would do it 8 times a game, but are we at that point with J-Mo where
2 times a game?
Yeah, throw it.
Once a half to challenge?
F it, J-Mo down there somewhere.
Ideally, it's coming off of hard play action, safety's biting, he gets a step, and you just go, hey, go get the football. Ticket text on something that's holding them back. Easy answer. Jared Goff. We can't win a Super Bowl with him at quarterback. Another one says 2 reasons. Goff is not firing on all cylinders this season, and the Lions' defense prior to now. I don't understand what that means. Says, I hope they learn their lesson from the Tigers. Sitting on your hands does nothing when a championship is within reach. Steve in Rochester. They have no edge opposite. Hutch is the biggest reason. A secondary prone to injury, and Goff chokes under pressure equals no Super Bowl. These are the concerns people have. I believe this offense still has another level to unlock. They've looked great at times, but there's still something a bit off from last year with Ben Johnson's offense. Great teams get better as the season goes, though, and I have confidence in this team to be playing their best ball offensively when it matters most.
So, in regards to Jared Goff, I mean, does anybody really believe he's having a bad season? Like, I mean, he's 13th in total passing yards, but his completion percentage is 75%. And he hasn't hit J-Mo deep, but J-Mo has, in large part, and I know this is why people say, well, you're paying $30 million for a decoy. Defenses have been taking away J-Mo. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going off so far this year. So if a defense is trying to take away J-Mo, they can't take away both. They're trying to take away the explosive play, and it's death by 1,000 cuts when you have Amon-Ra St. Brown for 12, Amon-Ra St. Brown for 15, Laporta for 8, Jahmyr Gibbs for 25.
Yep.
I just don't. I'm not buying into that.
Jared Goff on the season, 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
If you want to tell me he could have played better in certain spots, like they needed to score more than 7 points in the second half at Arrowhead, hey, I'll listen to that. If you don't like the points they left on the table against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football, cool, heard, gotcha. But I also don't think he's having some terrible season.
Right.
And I do think it comes back to what you continue to point out. Taylor Decker, getting him right, solidifying a consistent front 5, because then you'll run it, You'll have time to get J-Mo the ball, and Goff's going to have fewer mistakes. I mean, it all just goes back to that. Tex says it's unrealistic to think the Lions will win every game. I'm on board that they've shown they're a contender. They've shown they can make the postseason, and I think it's a Super Bowl team. Guys, it's got to be a dominant win against the Packers on Thanksgiving to right the wrongs. Tom and Canton. The biggest shortfall is Goff. He's a pocket quarterback. When the pocket crumbles, so does he. Kevin in Farmington Hills. Love the Lions. I'm looking for them to prove they can win a close game against one of the other top teams. So they get punished because Tampa didn't keep it close.
Right.
That's what that text is telling me.
Yeah.
If Tampa would have scored a touchdown in the fourth to make it a one-score game, then this guy would have been satisfied.
Right. Or you go to Baltimore and you put up 38. Now, I know the defense isn't great this year, but you come away going to Baltimore with a win and find a way to stop Lamar Jackson with 7 sacks.
Yep.
And Derrick Henry.
But apparently it wasn't a close game, so it doesn't count.
It was closer than Tampa.
I know. He says they have to win a close game against the top team.
Okay.
Defense stepped up against the Bucs. The caller was right about injuries, though. Practice squad guys aren't going to sustain long term. Get a decent edge in a corner, and we're good.
Well, I agree that week in, week out, you don't want to have a whole bunch of backups in there. But Kirby Joseph will be back. Brian Branch will be back this week. And I think
DJ Reed and Terrion Arnold at some point, too.
Right. And I think Amik Robertson has played really well. And he may not be a quote-unquote starter, but I think on a lot of other teams, he would be.
We all want the Lions to add because we want them to get better. And if you're not getting better, you're getting worse, and other teams are going to add. But it's going to be tough to predict the injury that you're filling.
Right.
Right? Like
at this time of year.
Right. Hey, I got to make a decision next Tuesday. Who's going to get injured in January? And I got to be right. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you really think about it like that, like, yeah, they should do their due diligence and bolster some key position groups, but the wrong guy gets injured in January, and you're going to have to make up for it in other areas.
Right, which, okay, we saw him do week in, week out
on Monday
last
night.
week.
How about Aleem McNeil? Let's connect some dots here.
Yeah.
The Legion of Whom had a great day. A lot of that's because Aleem McNeil and the D-line did their job, and Baker was uncomfortable. He missed some guys that were open because I think his timing was off in that Monday night game.
Well, it was off, and he was getting hit. He was getting pushed out of the pocket, and that's where he excels, is being that gunslinger, get out of the pocket and make something happen. But he just couldn't do it against this defense.
Talk to Dan Campbell at 8 o'clock. Name that Lion later in the show. A chance to win Lions tickets. It's 97.1.
Hey, it was a steamy summer, and we have yet to hit some really cold weather, but we all know that first blast of winter cold is right around the corner. At some point, Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical will do a complete furnace checkup right now and make sure it's running properly, but probably more important, it's safely. Right now, it's only $79. That's $30 off the regular price, so give them a call today because spots fill up quickly. Don't forget, Mastercraft does plumbing, electrical, and they offer the installation of generators as well, all at discounted prices. So give them a call now. You can find more information on the web at mastercraftheating.com. That's mastercraftheating.com.
Wings pick up a win last night on the road in St. Louis, the second road win of the year. It's the best they've looked on the road this season, and they'll have 4 more as they head out west. Open the show asking something or nothing. I think you'll have a much better idea at the end of this road trip. But Dylan Larkin scores a pair. He's up to 16 points in 10 games, off to the best start in his career. He's among the league leaders in points, and he's a +9. You also had DeBrincat score in back-to-back games. So people are feeling good regardless. To the phones we go. We brought up the Lions. John has them number 1 in the power surge yet again. We've often discussed this team as a Super Bowl team. If you're someone that's just not buying it yet, let us know. We're not going to interrogate you, but we want to know what's holding you back. Let's get to James in Lapeer. James, good morning.
Good morning, guys. How are you doing?
What's up?
Good.
I kind of feel like David Montgomery needs to be involved more in the offense, maybe even the starter. I feel like last year he kind of set the tone for the offense, and that kind of leads to the hard play action, the deep shots to J-Mo, kind of opens it up a little more. What are your guys' thoughts about getting him more involved? Don't get me wrong, I still think they're a Super Bowl contender, but I believe that if he gets more involved, we would be even more of a Super Bowl contender just because of what it does for the entire offense.
Well, the more you get him involved, the less Jahmyr Gibbs is involved. And I know last year it was closer to 50-50 in terms of carries and yards and all that stuff. But for Jahmyr Gibbs right now, he's just over 100 carries. And Montgomery is right near 80 carries. So it's not a huge discrepancy between the two. It's just Jahmyr Gibbs has been much more effective.
I don't disagree with that, but I was just kind of saying, like, I feel like he set the tone for the offense. And I understand that, yes, Jahmyr Gibbs is probably the better back at this point. But with that being said, I feel like the wrecking ball that David Montgomery was last year, it kind of set up the more explosive runs for Jahmyr Gibbs later on in the game because, of course, it wears down the defense, so on and so forth. And I'm not saying that Gibbs can't do that. I just feel like it would be a little more effective with Montgomery.
So when Monty missed some time at the end of last year, Gibbs really came into his own, and I think Gibbs could be a feature back. But you need both to get through a 17-game season. You want to keep tread on the tire for both of them. I'll play along. Maybe there's something to be said for getting better on third down because Monty can get you tough yards and conversions, and if he doesn't, it sets you up for more fourth and shorts to where we know they're comfortable going for it. John, I don't know, because I also don't want to take Gibbs off the field, but maybe there's some merit to Monty moving the sticks. Tough yardage situations.
I mean, I like the way that the offense is spreading the ball around. And I know everybody says, well, we want J-Mo to get the ball more. Yes, I'd love to have more 80-yard touchdowns. But are you going to take the ball out of Monroe St. Brown's hands? You're going to take it out of Jahmyr Gibbs' hands? Same thing, asking the question of, well, Monty needs the ball more. Well, then you're not giving it to J-Mo or Jahmyr.
As soon as Montgomery has a 20-carry game, we're going to get the same phone call saying,
why didn't they give Jahmyr Gibbs the ball more?
Why aren't they feeding Jahmyr? He's the more talented back, ball in space. Come on, he needs touches. And if J-Mo has a couple big games in a row, but St. Brown has a couple 2-catch days.
Yeah, what happened to
I thought he was an all-pro. Where's St. Brown at? Like, at some point, like, it's kind of whack-a-mole. Like, they can't keep up. They can't feed everybody. There's one football.
I would say that compare a game to a demolition. And you're not demolishing a house, you're demolishing another team. You have different tools in your tool set depending on what you need.
Right.
And I think what the caller's saying is maybe you start with a sledgehammer.
And that Monty is. All right, let's get to Heather with the news.
Well, a former NHL player and Michigan native, Ryan Kessler, has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct, apparently related to alleged inappropriate conduct with a 16-year-old earlier this year. So he was arraigned on Monday in Bloomfield Hills. He did plead not guilty. We don't know a lot about the incident, but we do know that it was reported to police in January. And according to attorneys involved, it involved unwanted touching. But we don't have all those details. So he had been coaching AAA youth hockey. He has been suspended from that role due to these allegations. 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct is punishable by a maximum of 2 years in jail and a $500 fine. A nanny in Royal Oak has been charged with murder and denied bond after she fatally stabbed an 83-year-old grandpa while she was caring for his 3-year-old grandchild. This is such sad, horrific story.
The details are just
It really
terrible.
is. Samantha Booth appeared to be experiencing a manic episode when the grandpa, David Ong, stopped by to go check on the child. He'd actually received a call from his daughter who was traveling for work. So she had left her daughter with the nanny that they had used for years without incident, right? Thought it was a well-trusted nanny, but hadn't heard from the nanny. So said, I'm going to call my dad, have him stop by. Well, that's when he was attacked by the nanny, stabbed multiple times with a screwdriver. When she didn't hear from her dad, she called her brother-in-law. So the little child's uncle stopped by, and that's when he found the grandpa attacked. He was able to rescue the child, but he had to fight her off as well. Wow. Police say Booth not only killed the grandpa, but also fled from responding police, attacked the brother-in-law, and then stripped naked. She was found with psychedelic mushrooms, marijuana in her purse. She's been charged with first-degree murder and second-degree child abuse, among other charges as well.
And she said, like, she's still in the cell,
well, that's
behaving
what I had
erratically.
heard, that after she stripped off her clothes, right, she has still been held and she is still naked and refused to go to the courtroom to get her sentencing. It sounds, I mean, when you
bizarre.
read, it's bizarre and heartbreaking for sure. Listen to this. An international flight from Chicago to Frankfurt, Germany had to be diverted to Boston after a passenger stabbed two others with a fork. And I'm not talking like a little plastic fork. It was a metal fork. According to reports, a 17-year-old passenger woke up to find the suspect like standing over him. And that's when he was stabbed in like the clavicle, the shoulder area.
Going for the neck, yeah.
Oh my gosh. And then another 17-year-old boy sitting next to this kid was stabbed in the head with this fork. When flight attendants tried to intervene, he continued this rage. He slapped another passenger, attacked a flight attendant. Wild, right? So the man, who is from India, had been previously admitted to the U.S. on a student visa, faces up to 10 years in prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a maximum fine of $250,000.
Got forked on a plane.
Listen to this story. There's a wild situation going on in Mississippi right now. A hostile STD carrying monkey is on the loose, and police are warning the public to be on the lookout and stay far, far away. So here's what happened. There was this large trailer truck hauling lab monkeys that crashed. And during that crash, several of the monkeys just made a break for it. Authorities say the monkeys were infected with hepatitis C, herpes, and COVID.
Huh.
What? They're aggressive towards humans. Like, it sounds like an awful situation.
Obviously, it sounds like they're very aggressive
All
towards
but
humans.
one of the monkeys have been destroyed. So authorities are on the lookout for this last remaining monkey.
Do you know where that truck originated from? Tulane University.
Yes.
Tulane University Medical School. In the news again. All right.
The green wave.
Oh, no.
Pretty wild. Twix is mixing up the holidays and has released a limited edition Hallowmas Christmas pack. Well, I guess not Christmas pack. Halloween and
pack.
Christmas pack.
Yes.
I mean, it's a combo pack, really. So it includes 2 pieces of candy, each inspired by Halloween and Christmas. There's a Twix with like a green cookie, and then there's another one that's like shaped like a snowman.
Huh.
I mean, it's just for fun. You can't buy them in stores. You do have an opportunity to get them today. They were dropped on October 22nd, sold out. So today, Twix is hosting a Hallowmas giveaway that will also come with a $20,000 cash prize. You got to go on their like social media pages, Instagram posts.
Give them all your info.
Yes, and tag some friends to give them all their info, and then you could
go.
win.
Maybe. One lucky person.
Yes.
That's Heather with the news. We don't need all kinds of information from you. We will we'll give away some Lions tickets later in the show, a chance to see this team that continues to roll. We'll talk to Dan Campbell at 8 o'clock. It's 97.1.
Hey, what's up, Detroit? It's your girl, Heather, and I'm always looking for ways to stay on top of my game, right? So you got to listen. You know how much I rely on my phone for everything. That's why I got to tell you about this insane deal from Verizon that'll help you be your best self, too. We're talking a low price on the best 5G in Detroit. Seriously, whether I'm blasting my favorite tracks in the morning commute or snagging those last-minute tickets to the hottest new flick, check this out. You can switch today and pay just $50 a month for a single line. You heard me right, $50 a month for the best 5G in Detroit Detroit when you bring your own phone and the unlimited welcome plan with autopay plus taxes and fees. That's a no-brainer, people. Visit your nearest Detroit Verizon store today to lock in this incredible deal. $20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Rankings based on Root Metrics Root Score report dated 2H 2024. Your results may vary. Additional terms apply.
Less than a half hour away from Lions head coach Dan Campbell joining us post-bye week. Lions hosting the Minnesota Vikings this weekend. We'll have Lions tickets to give away later in the show as well, part of Name That Lion. We asked Lions fans, look, if you don't think this team's a Super Bowl caliber team quite yet, they haven't convinced you, what do you need to see? What's holding you back? We'll get back to the phones, and then we have some Michael Jordan audio.
Ooh.
And maybe it's old school. Maybe he's on to something. He's doing these conversations now with NBC, getting the NBA, and we'll play some of that audio for people here in a second. Tristan in Ortonville, you're on 97.1.
Hey, guys. I just wanted to talk about the offense. They have random days where it just feels like they'll just not click on all cylinders. Like in the Tampa Bay game, for example, I can think of 3-4 drives off the top of my head where, they left points on the board. Like that game could have easily been 9-40 something against the Browns. I know they scored, but it just felt like they left more to be desired.
Yeah, it hasn't been as, I think, consistent as it was early in the season last year.
Yeah, and that's the only thing that worries me. It just feels like if you have a stinker of a game against one of the top teams in the playoffs,
It's all over.
It's all over. Like, you don't get that second chance.
But while I think they can improve offensively, and while I think there's another gear and they've left some points on the table, I also want to be fair about this. They're number 3 in the league in scoring with 30 points per game, and their margin of victory is 9. Not as dominant as a year ago, but when you're nearly beating teams by double digits regularly, it's not exactly like, boy, I wish we had a good offense. We have a good offense. Maybe you wish it was great.
But I also think it can be great.
Yeah,
and I
me
think
too.
it will be great. But I understand his point. Like there were times in that game where it stalled out. There were times in the Kansas City game where it just wasn't good enough. Obviously, they didn't score enough points. And it was nowhere to be found against Green Bay.
No. So the NBC deal with the NBA has led to Michael Jordan doing these sit-down conversations with Mike Tirico, and they've been dropping in portions
about
of
once
it.
or so a week.
Once or so a week. And, the topic of load management came up. And, Greg, if we could play cut number 1, this is Michael Jordan's thoughts on load management in today's NBA.
Agreed. And load management in the NBA has driven me nuts ever since it became part of how teams operate throughout the course of the season. It never used to be a thing. And you can't say, well, it's more physical now. It's not. Look at the games that Jordan played against the Pistons. Look at how the NBA was officiated then versus now. It was much more physical. It was a brutal sport. And now there's little to no defense, little to no contact, unless you hit the ground because you're flopping. Like, that's the biggest contact that they have in NBA games right now. And I do agree with the fact that it is an entertainment business. You're getting paid exorbitant amounts of money. And you're telling me you can't go because you're tired?
I don't think it's that they can't go because they're tired. I think it's strategic. I think it's work smarter, not harder. They want to have them playing their best ball at the end of the season.
Then the NBA needs to play less games.
I mean, maybe that is the answer.
Well, it's not going to happen, but they played 82 back then. They play 82 now.
Yeah, but the argument is as we get smarter, we want to play strategically, And while you're doing a disservice to your fans, which no fan's going to want to hear, their ultimate goal is to win as many games as possible and to position themselves as best to win the NBA championship. So if I got to sit a veteran player on a back-to-back in February to keep him fresh and playing his best at the end of the year, I mean, Jordan sounds like an old man in that clip. Well, he didn't have to, but that's not what we do anymore. We are smarter about it now.
I hate
cool,
that
you were
argument.
tougher. He was tougher. If that's what you want me to say, he was tougher. Doesn't mean it was smarter.
I mean, one of the reasons why we separate Jordan from LeBron is because Jordan wanted to go out there every single night and prove that he was the best player.
I think another way we separate him is LeBron's career is much longer. And I wonder if it has something to do with the fact that you get more out of your career when you take a Tuesday off here or there.
Well, yeah, but also Jordan stepped away.
Well, yes.
He could have still played. He decided to go play baseball for a little bit.
And the other part of this is not everybody's Jordan, not everybody's LeBron. Somebody else might need more maintenance to be their best in June. And as a fan, I get it. You bought tickets. It might be the only game you go to that year or one of only 2 or 3 you go to that year. The team, unfortunately, has to prioritize their performance over your fun Tuesday. That's why we've seen load management.
But he pointed out in some of this interview that the guy sitting in the 300 level that just worked his butt off to go to the game deserves me to be on the floor.
Yeah.
Right, but the team
don't agree with that.
No, the team is not worried about the guy in the 300 section. I hate to break
that's
this.
nice.
No, I hate to break it to that guy.
Well,
like,
that's the
I'm not
world
saying
we've
it's right or
become, though.
wrong, but the team is more concerned about the performance of their players, not making every single fan happy. And I'll ask you as a fan, would you rather them make you happy today or run the organization in the way they think is best to win the championship?
If I buy tickets for my family and take them to the game, I want to see Cade Cunningham play.
Yeah.
And whatever happens, happens. Because you're trying to control something. Let it play out, okay? Jordan's career played out. Ooh, he suffered a 65-game injury in 86. He still went out after that and did what he did for his entire career. Stop trying to control everything and just go out and compete. And whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, and whatever happened to every time you go out there, you want to win that game. It feels like that's not the case anymore. We just want to win enough to get into the playoffs and then enough to win a championship.
Flip a switch when you get there.
Right.
We're heading towards a collision course where you could make an argument here. If Indiana wasn't doing what they were doing, that Ohio State could rest players against Michigan because they want to protect things. That's the world you want to live in. I think this has hurt the NBA significantly.
Oh, I think it has. I agree with that.
Like if Steph or LeBron's not playing and you bought that ticket at LCA for your 10-year-old,
dude, it sucks.
What do you say to them? How does that that makes them not a fan?
Yeah.
Right. And these players are making this amount of money because fans buy tickets, fans buy gear, fans watch on TV. And so I do think there's a responsibility to actually go out and play.
Oh, I'm not saying it's right for the fans. I'm not saying it's right for the game. But as an individual team, you make decisions on how to get your guys to the finish line playing their best, freshest basketball. That's where it comes from. It's not like the teams are setting out to do this intentionally to screw over the fans. It's a strategy, right?
Well, you just said that no, the team doesn't care about the fan in the 300 level.
You have to prioritize.
So you are screwing over the fan.
Well, what's more important? Steph Curry being his best at the end of the year or making a fan in Detroit where we don't even play happy? What should the Warriors prioritize?
How about you train in the offseason and you train throughout the course of the season so that you can play in 82 games? Does that you prepare? Like you're making enough money.
It's not that he can't, which is what I said at the start of this. Steph can play in every single game. Physically could play in every single game. If I run the Golden State Warriors, do I give a hill of beans whether a fan of Detroit gets to see Steph Curry in our only meeting? That matters zero to me if I'm the Golden State Warriors. What's more important is, hey, Steph didn't roll an ankle that day. Hey, Steph, who played on a back-to-back, catches his wind and is even better for it down the stretch. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying I like the practice, but I get why it exists.
Okay, and I just disagree that's the mindset that they should have. You should put your players out there. They're making $50, $60, $70 million a year. And it's all the fans that are footing the bill and expecting them to go out there and play. If you show up at the stadium, at the arena, you want to see the best players and not show up and then all of a sudden, oh, well, Steph's not going today or LeBron's not going today.
We got a bunch of people on hold. We'll play a little more of Michael Jordan. We'll get right to the phones next. It's 97.1.
America's favorite place to watch every single sport we've got, especially football this time of year, is Stadium Swim. Located at Circa Resort and Casinos. Catch all the biggest games at a viewing experience built for sports fans. You could chill in one of the six pools for a perfect view no matter where you are of their massive 40-foot tall, high-definition screen. It's located at Circa Resort and Casino in downtown Las Vegas and is right there on Fremont Street. Stadium Swim. Book your spot today at circalasvegas.com.
Michael Jordan on NBC with Mike Tirico. Doesn't understand the load management. Said he felt he had a duty to show up and play every single game. For the fans that were fans of him, but also the fans he wanted to shut up. Mm-hmm. He referenced, coming to the Palace and, he wanted to shut up the guy in the 300 level. Not a surprise. Michael Jordan, not pro load management.
Right. And Charles Barkley has been very vocal on it as well. One of his quotes recently is, wait a minute, you're going to make $70 million and you can't play basketball 3 or 4 days a week. They fly private. They get the best medical stuff ever created. People working the steel mill every day. I'm pretty sure they tired too, but they go to work every day.
Let's get to the phones. Marcus in Detroit. You're on 97.1.
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, so I never thought I would be agreeing with Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan in the same sentence, right? So I agree in the sense of with the load management thing, it's ridiculous. If you're going to sit a superstar, like I heard you say earlier, don't want to roll an ankle, set a veteran back-to-back on a back-to-back game, then you need to lower the prices because I'm coming to see Cade Cunningham. I'm not coming to see Bobby Womack, spending, $150, $200, depending on where you're sitting at, $300 seats. Like, the NBA needs to do stuff with that. Isaiah Thomas said, if you look at the NBA now, you have about 6 or 7 guys almost averaging 40 points right now at the top, sitting at the top. Isaiah Thomas said he would kill himself damn near if it's the pride. I'm not going to let a guy put 40 on me. And the NBA is not playing any defense. I'm watching these games. I saw the interview, and I totally agree with Michael Jordan, 100%, because right now I'm in a labor-intensive job, right? I want low management, but guess what? I can't. I got to feed my family.
Go to your boss and be like, hey, it'll be good for our profits in Q1 next year if I get Friday off. See how that goes.
Yeah, I listen to you guys every morning. You guys don't do low management. You get your vacation days, you go ahead, you do your thing, and you come here and you put on a good show. Yeah. I listen to you guys all throughout the day for the most part. So for a guy making $80 million, and you don't have to play, you're playing basketball. That's fun. You're playing a sport.
It should be.
And
you're right.
Low management.
Yeah.
That's like if the Lions say, you know what, Jared Goff, we're going to low management. We're going to do the backup quarterback. We will have a fit here in Detroit. We would have absolutely a fit. We're running for something.
Of course. I think some of this is, too, like there's so many more games in the NBA.
Right. And I get your point.
Yeah.
And it's a valid point. But if I'm watching a game or if I'm going to turn on the NBA, I value toughness as one of the things that I want to see. And I just don't see toughness. I don't see toughness in a lot of sports right now. And the money that these guys are making is crazy. And it doesn't equate with the amount of effort that you believe you're seeing. And I say believe because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and we don't really know what injuries are or aren't. But I value toughness, and I just don't see it today.
I wouldn't be against minute management in terms of you're going to set a minute count like they set pitch counts.
Right.
At least you're seeing them play.
Cool. 0.
That's not what I meant.
Greg, go ahead.
I could get into a lot of points here. Here's one thing I really want to stress. John, you mentioned it in the early points. This is how teams operate. I want this to be it's teams managing their players. It's not more than players are saying I can't play or I don't want to play. I think we should have organizational first language when we talk about load management. This is what teams are doing. This isn't players tapping out.
Well, I think there are some players that are tapping out. That's the problem. I think there are some players that are going to the management.
I think it's solely been put on that, and I think that's wrong. Like, I think Barkley is more like hyper-focused on solely player-first issue, and I think it's an organizational issue for reasons that have been mentioned.
Well, and I think we could acknowledge it's not good for the brand, the product, the fans. We got a ticket text from a guy who says, I took my son to a Lakers game. Huge LeBron fan. He sat out for load management. Now my kid hates LeBron. Like, it's not good for your brand. It's not good for your product. It's not good for your fans at any price level, right, including the 300 level fans that Jordan referenced.
And in the light of the news that we had last week, now all of a sudden you're raising the question okay, well, why isn't this player playing?
But the strategy is all I try to bring up. Not that I like it, but I get why teams do it. Is they're saying, season's so long, we're going to be in the playoffs anyway. I got a veteran player. No, he's not actively injured, but on a back-to-back, burnout's real. If we have the luxury of sitting him, it's not going to cost us a playoff spot. We're okay with trading that off. And we are more beholden to our results on the floor at the end of the year than we are to individual fans. As hard a pill as that is to swallow for fans who may only be going to that one game to see that one player one time. Let's get to Pedro. You're next up. You're on 97.1.
Hey, guys. Jansen, you said about toughness in all sports. I think it's really just the NBA because it's the only sport you see load management. It's the only, I used to love the NBA, right? And I still watch just the Pistons now. Like, if I try to turn on, a regular national game, I turn it off just because it's, like you said, you don't know who's playing. I am so sick of the referees calling a foul every 5 seconds. It stops the flow of the game. You can't play any defense. And then when you watch the NBA, too, it seems like half the guys aren't even trying.
Yeah.
Like, you watch half the guys jog up and down the court. Like, it's just become...
Well, Pedro, we made that point last year, that the Pistons picked up a bunch of games just by trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not what and it's more than just this reason. It's just all of it. You have all these guys making all this money. At least try. And the NHL, no one's not trying. The NFL, you have to try or get your head ripped off. MLB is kind of a different sport, right? But, I feel like when you compare it to all professional sports, this is the only sport where you see these type of issues, where you just feel like when you're watching, it's a dishonest product, if that makes sense.
Totally get it.
Yeah, I mean, but just give you one ticket text before we get to Dan.
Yeah.
Please get Campbell's take on load management, and then tell him Costa loves it. That's from Kendall.
I feel like I'm getting, people hear what they want to hear, because this ticket text says, start giving cookies rest days so we can get better takes out of them.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like
which
it.
day
to
would be
clear.
best for you? I mean, probably Wednesday, maybe?
Middle of the week.
Thursday?
Yeah,
so you can have a strong Friday?
Good Friday with
going
the
into the weekend. I know you've got a busy weekend.
Well, there's 5 of us, so we each get one day.
Everybody take a day.
Yeah, but I value toughness, so I'm going to be here.
Oh, yeah.
Built different.
Again, I don't like it. I try to understand it. I don't like it.
That's not what it sounded like.
Well, nobody could be quite as tough as John Jansen.
Well,
you kind of are Tim the Tool Man. Can you give us a...
No, I don't think this is a tough guy. I don't think this is just...
Don't play his drop game.
No.
Damn it. This text just came in. I like load management. Signed Tarek Skubal.
Again, it's... But to Greg's point, where we think it's about the franchise and it's their philosophy, we didn't hear or see much pushback like we did from Max Scherzer.
Yeah.
On the mound, if somebody comes out to take him out, and he's screaming at him as soon as the manager leaves the dugout.
We do have Lions head coach Dan Campbell coming up next. We'll also tell you how you can win tickets to the Lions games. It's 97.1.
Brought to you by MyMichiganRoof.com. The Red Wings benefited from 2 goals and an assist from Dylan Larkin and 1 goal and 1 assist from Alex DeBrincat in last night's 5-2 win over the St. Louis Blues. The Wings will now drop the puck tomorrow at 10:30 p.m. in Los Angeles against the Kings. Lions head coach Dan Campbell will speak with Costa and Jansen in just moments here on 97.1. Detroit is coming off a bye last week and getting ready to face the 3-4 Minnesota Vikings at home this week. The NFL trade deadline is less than a week away. Fans and media pundits seem to think Lions GM Brad Holmes will attempt to add some help on defense. Whether that will be on the line or in the secondary, only time will tell. Pistons back in action tonight. They've got the Orlando Magic at home. Detroit is coming off a 116-95 loss to the Cavs on Monday. That's at 7 o'clock right here on 97.1 The Ticket. There was basketball in the state of Michigan last night. Michigan State lost 76-69 in a road exhibition to number 4 UConn yesterday. And after the game, Tom Izzo sounded like, well, Tom Izzo. Only Tom Izzo could be despondent after a 7-point exhibition road loss to the number 4 team in the country. Spartans and Wolverines both begin their regular seasons at home this Monday. Michigan hosts Oakland, while MSU has Colgate. At the Corewell Health Sports Desk, I'm Brendan Shabat. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or visit Odyssey.com.
Lions back from the bye. Good to have Coach back on the show. Dan, are you actually able to take time away during a bye week, or is your brain still obsessing about football?
Yeah, it's hard. I can get away more than normal mentally, but yet it never really goes away for a full day. So it's, you're always doing something. You're always thinking about something.
So what were you thinking about over the bye week in regards to football? What was the point of emphasis offensively or defensively? How do you want to see this team get better?
Well, I think it's, just how do we clean up a few areas to where we're running a little more efficiently, and whether that's personnel, that's coaching, that's scheme, it's situations. So, man, I'm really just looking at everything, man. I look at myself first and what can I do? What am I doing that is not good enough? How do I help the staff? How do I help the players? And then work out from there. So there's just a couple of things that I know we can be better at, and really on everything that I said. Just working through some of the fundamentals, the technique, and then, how we go about our business in each situation.
I'm sure there was some evaluation, obviously, that went on over the bye week. You get a chance to take a deeper dive into offense, defense, special teams, but also players. When you dug into some of the performances of the players, from the guys that are back from last year's team, who's taken the biggest step forward? Who continues to show improvement over the course of a lot of young careers?
Yeah, well, that's a really good question because there's a number of guys that have taken big steps. I mean, probably one of the guys that the first one I think of is Sam Laporta. I feel like Sam has taken another step forward, and sometimes what not everybody sees about Sam, he's got to do everything. He's got to pass protect, he's got to run block, and then certainly as a receiver, he's got his value there. The guy can do it all, and I feel like that's where he's taken his biggest jump is in the run game and pass protection, and continues to be a threat in the pass game. I mean, I love where he's at right now. Tyler Roll's done a great job with him and those guys. So he's one of the first ones I think of. And then certainly defensively, Derek Barnes is the other one over there, man. Continues every week to get better and better and better for a couple of – and they're not young guys, but they're growing into their prime, right?
With JMO, do you guys feel like you need to get him more involved, or is this a non-issue? Like there's one football, we got enough mouths to feed?
No, listen. Those are gonna come up, and but that doesn't mean that we don't want to get him involved. We want them all involved because that's when we're really running at a high level, when we can get all of our weapons going, get the first downs, get explosives, get touchdowns, and just keep going, man. Just keep cycling through. So that's when we're working at our best. We're running at our best when we get all of those guys involved. So, of course, he's somebody that we would love to get some targets and get him going, no different than all of those guys. So, that's something I think about as well.
I want to go back to your discussion about the defense and some of the guys that have really stepped up, Derek Barnes being one of them, and we've seen a lot from Jack Campbell. Malcolm Rodriguez will be back sooner than later, as it sounds. When he comes back, what does that allow you guys to do defensively, and how important is it to get him back, especially midseason?
Well, it's huge. Rodriguez. Oh man, it was good to see him out there yesterday. He was ready to go. But just getting him back, man, he's a football player. So the guy, he brings us. First and foremost, he brings us depth at the linebacker position. He upgrades us on special teams. I mean, this guy is an outstanding special teams player. And then as he gets his feet back under him, then, man, once he proves that he's back, he's good, he's comfortable, feels good, then something tells me he's going to find a way to find a niche on the football field. Because that's just Rodriguez, man. That's how he's wired. That's how he plays. He takes care of business. So getting him back whenever that comes is going to be huge for us.
Talking to Lions head coach Dan Campbell. Lions back off the bye. They'll play the Minnesota Vikings this week. We didn't talk to you after Tampa. Felt like there was some meat left on the bone offensively. third downs. If you could try to pinpoint what's been the issue on third downs this year, what would you say it's been?
Well, I think it's everything, right? It's all encompassing. You go through it, and it's like, I know that, we'd like to have a call back here. I know Goff would like to be able to progress through on this one, or I wish I had done something a little different there. I know we've got a couple of linemen that wish they would have taken a better set. First step wasn't good. Tight ends the same way. The backs, protection. I missed this. I had bad eyes on it. And it really became one of these, it's one guy here, it's one guy there, it's one guy there. We don't like the call here. I wish I would have set our guys up better myself. So it really is. And you wish it was just as, oh man, we're not. Right. It really is that. And when you're running at a high level, when you're, you are playing very efficient football offensively. You have manageable third downs, and on those, everybody's really working at a high level. Then everything just kind of cycles faster. I think they process everything a lot faster. They know how to work together a lot faster. I think the receivers are getting open faster. I think there's more strain up front. I think Goff is hitting his back foot and the ball is out, and it just. Those are the things, man, that we can continue to get better at, and we will. And all you got to do is get the first down. You're in third down, get the first down, and then let's just start going. Your confidence is up. You're running at a high level. So it really is one thing here, one thing there, but it's all correctable, and we'll be much better for all this.
Taylor Decker missed a couple of games, and then obviously he came back to play against Tampa, but you could still see him, at some of those plays where he's moving the shoulder around, trying to get comfortable. What's the maintenance schedule for him look like? And in any games that he's unable to go, I know Manu's on IR, and you've got Skip that he goes in. What does depth look like at the tackle position with Taylor Decker working through injury issues?
Well, yeah, if right now I'm saying Taylor is here and he is with us. So when you ask about depth, we're good. If Decker's not around, then we get a little bit thin, but we still, we like Skip and we like Cochran, who we've got on vet squad. So, we still got some guys there, certainly. But as far as Decker, it's just about dealing with where it's at. It's a shoulder. The good news is it was about getting strength back in it. Doesn't mean it's going to feel good, but he does have strength in it. And so then it's about, him feeling good enough to go into the game. He's gotten some reps. He's been able to move, but also not, setting him back for getting ready for the game. And that's kind of the balance right now. So he's practiced the last 2 days. He practiced on Monday. He did individual yesterday, and then he'll practice tomorrow.
I guess the answer might just be whatever the nature of the injury is, but if you guys considered a prolonged, you shut him down to get him right for the postseason or down the stretch of the regular season?
I don't think we've looked at everything. We've looked at everything, and there's a balance there. And if you could say that would guarantee it, that's great. We can't guarantee any of it. So it's about, getting him through, making him feel good, and making sure the strength's in it. And that's really what the basis is. Is there strength in this shoulder, good enough strength? And right now the answer is yes.
Kirby Joseph, update on him coming out of the bye week?
Look, he's improving, but he's still got a little bit to go here. So we'll know more over the next couple of days. But, he's better than he was before we left for the bye.
We were all excited to see Aleem McNeil, and I think we got a chance to see a lot more of him than we anticipated. What is, and I don't know if you can't quantify it, but what's the impact that Aleem McNeil brings to the front and really the entire defense, especially when you're trying to apply pressure to maybe protect the secondary? What was his impact that you saw against Tampa?
Well, it was a big impact. He did a lot for us. Probably the most noticeable because of what we put him in on was passing downs. And his ability to push the pocket, get an edge, and cause disruption was very noticeable. It's getting in the quarterback's lap, and that flushes your cue. That doesn't allow you to be able to step up and throw, and it pushes you one way or another. It pushes you to Hutch, it pushes you to Muhammad, those guys, and then that elevates their game. And then in return, then in return it elevates his game. It's funny, you get one piece back, and all of a sudden, man, everybody on that line gets better and better, and they start playing off each other, and then we're not even talking about the run game here. He makes our run game, our run defense even better as well, and that's been pretty dang good. So he's a sight for sore eyes. It's great having him back. I thought he would play well, but yet it's your first game back, and he was even better than that. So he got through the game well. He feels good, and he's ready to go for Minnesota.
Dan, I think on Friday we're going to see a lot of Dan Campbell Halloween costumes. What's the key to pulling off a Dan Campbell Halloween costume?
I don't know. I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why anybody would do that, but I don't know.
I mean,
come on.
Question. Cookies wants to know what he needs to do on Friday.
You think I'm dressing up as Dan?
You're asking for a reason, so he wants to know what's the key piece to the costume for Jim Costa to look like Dan Campbell.
Probably got to hit the weight room a little bit.
Cap.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll work.
Yeah.
Hey, how about this? What is Dan Campbell's favorite Halloween candy?
What is my Reese's Pieces?
There you go.
All right. Dan, we'll talk to you next week. It'll be a trade deadline, so I'm sure we'll have some questions about that and how you guys play against the Vikings. But good luck this weekend.
All right. Have a good one. Appreciate it.
All right. It's 97-1.
Hey, the NBA finally tipped off, and FanDuel is your home for live betting. Even if you've missed the start of the game or you want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who's going to score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you could even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot, a bigger payout. However you want to play, now is the perfect time to join. FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. All you have to do is visit FanDuel.com/971Detroit to sign up today. That's FanDuel.com/971Detroit. Play your game with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or over and present in Michigan. First online real money wager, only $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued is now in trouble. Bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Guys, if you're injured in a car accident, you need someone who cares about you. You need KG Law. Lawrence KG and KG Law, 98% success rate, and they're not going to settle for some low ball from the insurance company because they specialize in car accidents. Lawrence KG has won millions of dollars for his clients because he fights hard, he wins, and he wins big. It all comes from having someone in your corner who cares about you. So if you, a friend, a loved one, someone you care about is injured in a car accident, you need KG Law. 877-KG-CARES. That's KAJY. KGCares.com. Well, it's a Wednesday. We've got Lions tickets to give away. Name that Lion. You're going to hear 3 clues this hour. You're going to listen to those clues, and you're going to be able to figure it out. I believe in you. You'll call in only when you hear the voice guy, the sounder, telling you to call in. If you call in early, you're going to make Greg the bad guy. He's going to hang up on you. We got a show to do.
And I will not even entertain your guess.
Yeah, people try to fish around and get clues from you. Greg is going to hang up on you. If you're calling to join the conversation we're having, great. If you're calling to try to guess the Lion, you got to wait for the sounder later in the hour. But you'll get 3 clues. You're going to figure it out. And if you get it right, you get tickets to see the Lions play the New York Giants in November. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Why don't I just give people the first clue now?
Okay.
We can do that and start to whet the appetite. Your first clue. Like John Jansen, I'm in the Hall of Honor at my alma mater. But I didn't play at Michigan. I played for the Texas Longhorns.
Oh. Narrows it down a little bit.
It does. What'd you take from Dan Campbell this week?
Well, I like, it seems to be, okay, they've got a plan. They're going to have a plan. It's probably not the greatest plan to move up Cochran from the practice squad as the backup to Skipper. And maybe that's just because I was on it yesterday. I've talked about it today in regards to who's going to be on that offensive line if Taylor Decker can't go. And so that's part of it. And then, thinking about the impact of Aleem McNeil and the fact that he did play as well as he did.
I know.
And there was no, hey, let's work him back into it. And he wasn't tentative in coming back from such a tough injury to recover from the ACL. Like he hit the ground running, and the power was there, the speed was there, the pressure was there. Really, I was just really excited to see him on the field, but he played a great game.
Modern medicine, man.
Yes.
Yeah, and it should only
it's a wonderful thing.
Should only get better.
Same thing with Taylor Decker. Modern medicine, man. Yeah.
John, I walked out when we wrapped the interview with Dan Campbell. Did you say something bad in your live read? Because everybody picked up on something.
Oh, yeah. I mispronounced shot.
You added
but
an
not
A?
with a, yeah.
Not with an I?
Not with an I, yeah. So it's
AI?
not technically a terrible word. It's just, but the thing about it was I drew more attention because I couldn't stop laughing. I'm my own worst enemy.
Those are the texts that you don't have to read them all on air, but they all noticed.
That's
I
the
couldn't
problem
resist.
with my sense of humor, right? As soon as I said it, then I kept hearing it in my own head, and I'm trying to read the rest of the read, and I couldn't stop laughing.
So my belief on what you said is that, yeah, that can slip out. But
I can.
You don't want to.
Well, I'm not going to repeat it.
But you're not going to repeat it.
Yes, it can
But you can't
slip
say the
out.
other one. Like you can't add the R.
Yeah, a little fiber helps it.
And with that, let's get to Heather with the news.
Excellent. Hurricane Melissa pummeled Jamaica on Tuesday, making landfall as a Category 5 storm, which is one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes on record. It's the strongest ever to hit the island. Landslides, fallen trees, power outages, right, were all reported. Winds of up to 185 miles per hour. And according to the Jamaican Prime Minister, there is no infrastructure in the region that can withstand a Category 5 storm. The question now is the speed of recovery. That will be the challenge. And there are several Michiganders who are currently stuck in Jamaica due to the hurricane.
They vacationed?
Well, one couple, Laura and her husband, Laura Sr., were there to, they said, meet their 1-year-old grandson. They had planned to leave on Monday, but they're now obviously stuck because airports were shut down. They've got to ride out this hurricane. They're in a condo building, and here she is talking about where they're staying. I don't know now
how they're doing.
This was clearly before it hit yesterday. There was another woman, a Detroit woman who's stuck in Jamaica, basically went on a dream vacation to celebrate her sister's 70th birthday, and now that turned into a nightmare because trapped there as well.
Well, and then you think about the people who, this is their home. They weren't going to leave to begin with, and now they got to hunker down, and it's going to be a disaster.
Well, this was brought up. It has nothing to do with the devastation. I know it's devastating. I don't mean to downplay that, but they showed drone footage of the eye, and it was pretty cool. Did you guys see any of that? I think it was the Air Force had a plane that was...
I heard about it, but I didn't click on the article. Was it cool? I mean, it is interesting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's sunny,
fascinating.
Blue skies.
Yeah. Daylight saving time ends this weekend, which means it's time to set those clocks back. So get ready. And even though we do this every single year, right, we know what's going on. A U of M neurologist recommends easing into the shift, especially if you're a little bit older. So, John?
As the eldest host on the show.
Wow. I was just about to say, well, it doesn't affect me at all, so I guess I'm not elder.
I'm the oldest here.
Uh-huh.
So you can just start eating dinner 10 minutes later.
Okay, 4:10.
The early bird special. There you
go. 2 Michigan men are being sued by Epic Games. That's the company behind Fortnite, for allegedly stealing thousands of dollars from the game. Now, this is a game I've never played, so I'm going to be explaining it probably in the worst way possible, but I bet for those who have played, they might understand things more than me. But according to the lawsuit, the men allegedly created more than 20,000 fake bot accounts to then artificially inflate engagement on their user-created islands. I guess you can create these islands, which are like special custom maps that players can visit, and it's incentivized, and you can make money by how many people visit your custom islands.
And this is Fortnite? Yeah, I haven't played since pre-pandemic.
So,
the game's changed. I don't know what that is.
As a result, they allegedly received tens of thousands of dollars from these fake engagements on their islands. Okay. Anyway, so Epic has accused the men of knowingly violating the terms of the agreement that they signed when they created their accounts. So the suit requests that the men be permanently banned from ever creating an account with Epic Games, and then they must pay all damages and also court fees. So they're in some big trouble. Let's see. Corewell Health has announced plans for a new hospital tower at its Troy location. So the new tower, which is expected to open by 2030, will expand the hospital's bed count by 94 beds and will increase the number of private rooms. The project would also build a brand new parking structure with like the connecting pedestrian bridge. And they say construction is expected to begin no later than August of 2027. And it's basically that there's just so much demand and they don't have enough beds to meet that demand. So this will help with that. Finally, you guys, remember the breast milk ice cream? We talked about the makers of
who
that.
Could forget it?
The Freedom Mom.
Did you ever get the order?
No, I tried, but it's sold out. So they probably didn't make a ton of it, or it sold out too quickly. I couldn't get it. But they've got something else they're bringing to us.
Oh,
booger candy. You can now eat
that's something different.
You can eat your boogers?
Well, they're technically not yours.
Well,
but you can eat boogers. Yeah, so they're not real boogers, just like the breast milk ice cream wasn't made with real breast milk. But This candy is made to look like boogers in varying shapes and shades of brown, green, and yellow. And they say, quote, in honor of cold and flu season, we're giving you a whole new, less gross way to eat your boogers. Introducing Boogie Bites, the treat kids have picked for generations. And it's basic.
Oh, wrong drop.
Well, it's basically like a stunt to promote one of their actual products, which you might know.
Oh.
Well, just from having kids and Teddy recently, their nose sucker. Have you ever used the Frida Baby nose sucker?
Oh,
I
yes.
mean, when the kids get congested
Oh,
and they've got all the boogers and so.
Yeah, you thought it was torture.
Yeah.
Absolute torture.
They hate it.
Yeah.
But they needed to breathe. So anyway, go eat some boogers.
And when you said booger candy,
Yeah.
my brain went to booger sugar, which is why I thought we had a bunch of Stony drops.
Oh, no.
Anyway, that's Heather with the news. If I may make a request, in the last news
Yes.
of the day, in the next
Yeah,
hour,
yeah.
can we get an update on these Martians that may or may not be Martians, these
yes,
aliens that may or may not be making
on their
way
mothership, if
on
they're
their
going to
mothership?
slingshot. I'll see
Could
what I
happen
can
Slingshot
do.
around the sun.
today. All right, we got John's Power Surge next. It's 97.1.
Value-driven banking begins with First Merchants Bank. And when I have questions about my finances, I turn to my bank. That's First Merchants Bank. I know that their attentive local bankers are 100% interested in listening to my situation and in helping me find the answers that I need. First Merchants doesn't provide cookie-cutter solutions or check-off boxes when it comes to financial advice. They're going to take the time to learn about my life, my personal financial goals, and work with me to build a plan that fits my situation. That's because First Merchants Bank really cares. They see me as a person, as an individual, and not just as a number on a spreadsheet. They're going to do all they can to help their customers and communities succeed. You can count on that since First Merchants Bank is staffed by local bankers who know and are passionate about the needs of the local community because it's theirs as well. It's their community, and we all have to work together to help it continue to prosper. To get started on your personalized financial solution today, all you have to do is visit firstmerchants.com. That's firstmerchants.com. First Merchants Bank, helping you prosper. Member FDIC.
All right, guys, I got clue number 2 for Name That Lion to win a pair of tickets for their game against the New York Giants on November 23rd. Clue 2, I was a first-round draft pick by the Detroit Lions. Keep listening. Listen for all the clues, and when we play the sounder, you'll have your chance to call in to Name That Lion. Let's be honest, nobody's planning for a new roof. I don't know anybody who's excited to get a new roof. It always seems to come at the worst time and the costs can feel overwhelming. Want you to know about Shaner Roofing. They can take care of you. Michigan's trusted roofing experts for more than 30 years, and right now, Shaner's making it easier than ever to protect your home with a 0% interest financing for 5 years. That means you don't have to skimp on the quality of your roof. You can still get a roof that's built to last without the stress of that upfront payment. So, here's the thing. Shaner Roofing, 0% interest, financing for 5 years, 4.9-star Google rating. This is not a fly-by-night company. They've built their reputation, thousands of satisfied homeowners who rave about their professionalism, their craftsmanship, and their customer care. So if your roof's leaking, if it's aging, if you're ready for peace of mind, don't wait. mymichiganroof.com/0. That's mymichiganroof.com/0, powered by Shaner Roofing, where quality meets affordability. Good morning, 97.1. Jim Costa, John Jansen, Heather Park, Gov and Greg behind the glass. Brendan Shabath on the updates. Hear from him in about 10 minutes. I think Michael Jordan may have struck a nerve.
Mm-hmm.
He is part of NBC back with the NBA, and they're doing this thing where Mike Tirico talks to him and they put snippets out of their conversation every week. And load management was the topic this time around. Greg, if we could play cut number 1, Michael Jordan's thoughts on load management in today's NBA. Felt he had a duty to play every night that he could. Certainly not a fan of load management. Not a surprise coming from Michael Jordan. John, is he right?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the ultimate competitor right there. And it was doing everything that he could to prepare himself for a season, the length of a season, postseason, to win a championship. And I think he's spot on. One of the things that drives me crazy about the NBA is the concept of load management. And whether it's coming from the franchise or it's coming from the player, it drives me crazy. I don't think it's the number one thing that you have to have, but it's near the top of the list. Toughness. And if you can't be tough and you're making $50 million a year, something's wrong with that equation for me.
And Michael Jordan talked about, hey, you only play basketball for what? 3 hours a day?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan, of course, would golf and gamble on his off days, but showed up and played almost every season, every single game. So, look, if you're a fan, you've probably experienced this, where you go to a game to see a specific player, and that player sits out, and you wonder, well, is he hurt? Like, if he's hurt, I get it. No, they're just giving him a maintenance day, just a little tune-up.
Yeah.
He's going to sit on the bench in street clothes, and you paid money to go to the game.
It's an issue. And for some fans, it's not. Like they are all in on whatever it takes to win a championship. And
well,
if
that's where this
what
comes
it takes,
from.
Right.
Like the teams, and nobody likes to say this or acknowledge it, the team doesn't really care about your individual ticket. They're not going to put that above what they think is strategically managing their players for the gauntlet of a season.
That's part of where it comes from. The other part of where it comes from is guys saying, well, I want to make sure that I play for 20 years versus I need to be at my best today.
The first team that really started doing this, that I can recall, was the San Antonio Spurs.
Right.
And that's when you had some aging guys, right? Duncan, Parker, Ginobili. We're not really concerned about making the playoffs. We feel pretty good about that. Do we need to win 65 games, or is 60 enough? And those guys will be rested and ready to go in the playoffs. And if you're a Spurs fan, hey, yeah, we'll sit a guy in a back-to-back. Sorry, our ultimate goal is to win a championship. Not please a fan on a Tuesday night, or especially a road fan. Like, a lot of this happened on the road. Like, if the Warriors come to Little Caesars Arena, do you think the Warriors care if the Pistons fans get to see Steph Curry or not? So I think that's where this comes from. But it is an issue for the league because it does hurt your product.
Well, I think there are a lot of people in road venues that are going to buy a ticket simply to see that guy that's coming to play.
But the team doesn't care. Like, the road team doesn't care about that.
But the NBA is a players' league.
Yeah.
People go to see the players more than anything. Individuals. That's how the league is sold, you know? This bothers me because, look, if I buy tickets for my family to go to a game and Steph Curry's a healthy scratch, that's wrong. That makes me not like Steph Curry. It makes me not like the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick and tired of these leagues, like especially the NBA, trying to control everything. You're playing the long game too, and this was just never part of sports when I grew up. It's just annoying. I mean, I'll give credit to Greg. He said it earlier. Teams deserve blame here too. That's the one thing that I don't like about this topic is the players get all the blame and the teams don't. The teams are allowing this. Don't allow your players to do it. Then it puts it on the players. It's a players' league, okay? I know players have more control in this league, but stand up and say no. But the teams want this every bit as much as the players do.
Yeah, I think the teams are looking at it and saying, if I can get Steph and LeBron to the finish line of the regular season, I need them more in the postseason than I do in the regular season.
What I would like to see done is not to take games off, but I would support minute management, much like pitch counts in baseball, where you just kind of say, look, LeBron's going 30 tonight. That's what we're doing. We're monitoring his minutes.
Well, now here's where you do get into the selfishness. You want to know why that doesn't happen? It messes with the players' stats and their averages. If I only play 25 minutes, I can't score as many points. So I'm better off missing the game entirely. It doesn't count against my scoring average for the season, my rebounds per game, or my assists per game. So that's where it does get into the ego of the players. Because you're right.
When it comes to pitch counts, too, you could argue it works in favor for the pitcher that they don't see a batter a third time around.
Correct.
Or, that they don't see him the fourth time through or whatever.
Yeah, or they don't get a loss and you don't face the seventh inning.
Yeah.
Hypothetical?
Or maybe
just
hypothetical,
yeah, of course. Let's get to Mike, and we'll get more of your phone calls because I think this does strike a nerve with people. Mike, you're on 97.1.
Hey, good morning, fellas. Go Blue, John.
Go Blue.
A couple things, guys. I'm so glad Michael Jordan, because he's the only one who really can speak up on this. And you're saying, Cookies, that he's getting backlash. But here's the deal: this is why the NBA product is starting to fail a little bit, and this is why we as fans are getting frustrated. These players want to take nights off, right? They want to pick and choose when they want to play. They want to join super teams like LeBron, bounce around instead of building up their own town or team and waiting for the homegrown talent to actually win. They want to they want to get their money. They want to get traded when they're not happy. And this is what killed the rivalries in the game. There's no more intensity, tenacity between players is gone. They're all friendly and friends now. Where Isaiah and Mike can't stand being around each other still. And that's what made sports awesome. You look at the OSU Michigan rivalry. You look at the Avalanche and the Red Wings. Yep. You look at the Bad Boys and the Bulls. I mean, because they hated each other, there was physicality. They killed positions in the NBA. Nowadays, there's no power forwards. There's no centers. They wanted to give them nights off. It's just it's a combination of things where basically the players have taken over the league but have ruined the actual product. And yes, maybe they're getting their money now, but down the line, when this league, somehow the
you
money
turn off
gets
too many people. Yeah.
Exactly, buddy.
Now,
So
Mike, let me ask you though, and I get what you're saying, and I look as a fan, I think this is crummy. If it was one of our players who was an older vet and we're chasing a championship, would you be okay with them sitting him strategically so that we have the best chance to win a championship?
I'll give you one example. Grant Hill. Would you have sat him down when he was hurt versus ruining his knee and ankle?
Right.
Because he tried to go for it and tough it out? No, I'd rather have Grant Hill. Because at the end of the day, Chauncey Billups played on a bum knee.
Isaiah on the ankle.
One left. Yep. That's what made this legendary. This is why you got hooked to these players. Nowadays, there's nothing to hold on to. LeBron, you're the GOAT. You're self-proclaimed too, but for what? You went and joined a super team. Did you really do it on your own? So, I'd rather have it the old way if you ask me, Cookies.
Mike, appreciate the phone call. We'll play a little more of Jordan audio because he had more to say. We'll take some of your phone calls. We are going to get into the Red Wings a little later in the 9 o'clock hour. They are off to their best start through 10 games in 15 years. Something or nothing. It's 97.1.
Brought to you by Hamilton Chevrolet. The Pistons had 4 scorers in double figures, but none with more than 12 points in Monday's loss to the Cavs. Cade Cunningham was the low leading scorer in that outing. As a team, Detroit shot 38% from the floor and turned the ball over 25 times. Hopefully, the Pistons can have a better offensive night against the Orlando Magic this evening. The Magic are reeling on a 3-game losing streak right now. That game tips off from downtown Detroit at 7 o'clock right here on 97.1 The Ticket. Pre-game coverage from Chris Villar starts at 6:35. Dan Campbell was asked by John Jansen this morning about the return of linebacker Malcolm Rodriguez. Rodrigo tore his ACL against the Bears last Thanksgiving, but was activated off IR and finally returned to the practice field this week. Campbell talked about what his addition means. Campbell did not provide an update as to whether Rodrigo will play this Sunday against the Vikings, but it's unlikely. The former Oklahoma State linebacker racked up 152 tackles in his first 3 NFL seasons. Last year was shortened by his injury at just 10 games. And Game 5 in the World Series is set to start in Los Angeles at 8 o'clock tonight after a 6-2 Blue Jays win last night, even the series at 2 apiece. At the Corewell Health Sports Desk, I'm Brendan Shabath. For more, go to 97.1 The Ticket or visit Odyssey.com.
Our full conversation with Dan Campbell coming up at 9:35. The Wings off to their best 10-game start in 15 years. Something or nothing. That's at 9:18 this morning. In the next 10 minutes, I'll give you clue number 3, your final clue, and a chance to win tickets for the Lions. Hard to name that Lion. John, we have more Michael Jordan audio. Greg, can we play both these cuts? Michael Jordan on an example of when he could have load managed. Ultimate competitor.
That's why he's the greatest of all time.
And, what about the game where he had the flu? Could have sat that game, right? All of this in his conversation about load management. It was on NBC with Mike Tirico.
Quickly, the point about Tirico made a good point of clarifying. It's not necessarily that he would have or a player would sit out Game 5 of the NBA Finals. It's just an example of what if he felt that way in a game in February? Okay, I don't want to play, but then I start playing and being like, okay, I kind of got it, and now I can contribute.
I got to tell you guys, I hated Michael Jordan for years. There's the heart of my childhood, the Bad Boys.
Yeah,
I despised him because of what
how great he was.
Yeah, but the rivalry and the bad blood and all that, and it took me years to admit he was the best player ever. It was actually after he retired. I was finally like, I got to concede. I'm holding biases against him.
Yeah,
this made me like him more.
There's no question, because you get him to talk about the competitive nature. What made him the greatest of all time? And it was the fact that he went out there every single night and wanted to prove that he was a great player. He wanted to win, and that's what mattered, is the game that was that day. He wanted to win versus, and he won, obviously, plenty of championships, plenty of MVPs. Like, that's what separates him. Whenever we talk about, and I know we don't want to get into this discussion, the greatest of all time. Is it LeBron or is it my MJ?
Well, let's compare to the other greatest of all time. We kind of did this yesterday with Ohtani, but you Brady, the Fuel and the Brady Six, if you saw the documentary, like it still drove him at that point that who got drafted ahead of him, much like Amon-Ra St. Brown, and brought him to tears years later in that interview. Like the meaning. I know Wayne Gretzky, when he lost his first Stanley Cup final, he went and to see what the Islanders were just, hey, are they celebrating? How's this go? And they were all sitting on their locker room floors, exhausted.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's when I knew what I needed to do.
Mm-hmm. And there's also this thing of in some athletes, and I think we are missing a lot of it today. Not every single guy, but we're missing it today in regards to, I just want to go out there and maybe I can show that I can play with an injury because no one else will. And you just want to show that you're bigger, badder, tougher, and better than everyone else.
I want to say that I half am wondering if this is a pivot from NBC took over the broadcast rights.
Yes.
The league has this problem and people don't like it. Let's get the greatest player of all time as the season starts to say how he feels about it. You got Barkley saying it. If we're moving towards a pivot here, especially with the gambling crap that happened.
Well, that's another entirely important topic for them to grapple with. But some of this you got to be careful because it can very easily turn into old guys saying it was better than when they played. And that's a huge issue with a lot of the NBA coverage right now is a lot of these former players who just dump on the current game today beyond load management. So if it ends up in that category where it's like old guy shaking his fist, back in my day we played 82 games, then you end up dumping on the current product and it doesn't help the product to do that.
So it has a lot of get off my lawn arguments.
Yeah.
But the wild card here is when you take your 10-year-old.
Correct.
And he doesn't get to see who he should see because he's a healthy scratch. Kids understand injuries. Oh, disappointment. When Jordan sat out the 65 games for injury the one year, a bunch of tickets were bought to see Michael Jordan, the rising star in the game. You don't get it because of the injury. The kids understand that.
How about these ticket texts? I think there's a bunch of good ideas here. Text says, what if you could only load management players 10 plus years into the league? Vets earn the right to have an off day on a back-to-back, but not just any old superstar can do it. It says, how about this? If they're a healthy scratch, they miss the game check.
It should be part of it. Yeah, I mean, it's if you're buying a ticket, you don't get to refund your ticket.
Guys, it's too easy to make the playoffs. That's what allows these teams to get away with doing this because there's really no, okay, yeah, we're going to forfeit the game or put ourselves in a position to lose the game. Who cares? There's 82 of them. We're going to lose 30 plus.
Yeah.
It's just all part of the long season. This one says NBA players should not be able to healthy scratch when they're on the road. You want to do it at home where you have all these home games and your fans have all these chances to see them? Great. But if it's the only time LeBron goes to Detroit or the only time that Steph goes to Detroit, can't be a healthy scratch. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I think these are all great ideas. It just goes back to the mindset of the modern NBA. Where it's not that, not 82 games isn't important.
Flat out, you're right, yeah.
And that's what drives me nuts. And that's why I make it a point to try and go to an NFL game. I make it a point to try and go to Major League Baseball games. I make it a point to try and get down to a hockey game. I don't make it a point to go to the Pistons. I could do my job by watching them on TV.
Correct.
And I just don't. I'm not as big of an NBA fan because I just think it's not as tough of an athlete that you are going to watch.
Jason in Ann Arbor, you're on 97.1.
Hey, guys. I feel like it's more of an investment for the teams. Like back then in 92, Jordan was making $3.2 million. And if you calculate that to now, that's only $7 million. All these players are making so much money. It's an investment for the teams. But I also wonder, how is this any more different from when the NFL players sit out at the end of the season?
Well, I agree with you. I don't like that either. Like if they're going to sit out because they've already got the number one seed locked up, and do they play in in game 17 or week 18 at this time? And we saw, I mean, Dan Campbell and company had that opportunity. They didn't do that when they played San Francisco a couple years ago.
Right. It was a point of pride. They really wanted that one. A couple quick ticket texts here. Very boomer take by John and Gov. Oh, it's not what I grew up with, therefore it's bad. Either evolve or don't watch.
No, it's that the value that I have of going out there and playing every single night. You're making $60 million.
I'd say if maybe to that person, go watch The Last Dance if you haven't seen it. The competitive nature of the sport simply isn't what it used to be because of these things we're talking about.
And Jordan played at a time when it was a much more physical game.
Yeah, and I don't think that all needs to come back necessarily.
No, I'm not saying that.
It got too violent. The NBA got too violent at one point there.
Sure, but if they could do it, why can't the athletes today do it?
Isn't load management what the Lions are doing with Decker?
No. They're nursing his injury.
It's a legitimate injury.
Is not load management.
Load management is healthy scratch.
Load management is you're not on the injury report.
Right.
But you're not going to play.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Because you're tired.
And this one says, if on the subject of load management, if Mel Tucker was a believer, he'd still be the Spartan coach. Clue number 3 for Name That Lion.
God. Oh.
You knew we were going to get one of those today. Clue number 3 for Name That Lion. I had 100+ yard interception return touchdown as a member of the Detroit Lions. Greg? If you can name... What he said. If you can name that Lion, you win a pair of tickets to see them play the New York Giants. You've gotten 3 clues over the last 60 minutes of radio. It's up to you if you can name that Lion. Call in 248-539-9797. Something or nothing. The Wings hot start next, 97.1.
Injury attorney David Feminino is the guy you want to call if you've ever hurt in an accident. But what he really wants, what we all want, is for all of us to be safe. He knows how tragic accidents can be. That's why he started David's Driving Edge, to spread awareness about distracted driving and help us with all the tips that he's learned to be better prepared on the road. If we can prevent accidents before they happen, that's where the real win is. Learn more at getdavidgetpaid.com/driving edge. That's getdavidgetpaid.com/driving edge.
Something or nothing. Red Wings have won 7 of their first 10 hockey games. First time they've done that in 15 years. Something or nothing. They beat the Blues last night. That was Ken Cal on the call. Dylan Larkin, 16 points in 10 games. Pacing from north of 100-point season, would be the best of his career. DeBrincat goals in the last couple games here now, starting to heat up. And that was the best road game they've played all year. Our question, John, something or nothing?
Well, I mean, when you put it all in context, it's early. We get that. But when you look at the way that Dylan Larkin has performed early in the season, you look at the way the young guys have come out, and I don't think that you can look and say, well, that was a mistake. Shouldn't have been up. Like, they're all, yeah, are they as good as they're going to be? No. But they're performing as they should. I think it certainly is something. I'm not going to sit here and say that it means they make the playoffs, because what has been the big issue?
MARCH.
March. You can say it. It's okay. But it's there needs to be follow through. One of the things I'm happiest about, or I'm most pleased to see, is the way that Todd McClellan is coaching this team. Game 1, laid an egg, and he wasn't going to stand for it. What do? They come out and they respond. You lose a couple of games on the road. What does he do? He addresses it. He's holding these players accountable, and it's each guy is going to be held to a different standard, right? You're not going to hold a rookie, a first-year guy, a 20-year-old to the same standard that you're going to hold Dylan Larkin to, or DeBrincat, or Kane when he's healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You are, and that's what I really like about what I'm seeing from Todd McClellan.
I do like what I'm seeing and hearing from Todd McClellan. He holds the team accountable. He's kind of like it's like the Iditarod. He's got all the dogs mushing in the right direction, and he keeps them on course.
And it's not the shucks with Derek Lalonde, like everyone's getting better, and then we'll see what we can do.
No, and I think there's a couple things to note. Their last home game, where they came back down 4-0, that was a moment where things could have gone south in a hurry, because you lose that game and then you hit the road.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like, oh boy, you're going to undo all of the hot start. Instead, they win that hockey game. They have more of a backbone, and I think that comes from their head coach. I think that's one way to put it. But I'm not willing to say this is something. The fact that he's had to challenge the team publicly twice in 10 games.
I think everybody is glad that you're sticking to your guns.
Just hear me out, okay? We had Yzerman on, and it's not like he was flaunting their 5-1 start.
Nor should he.
Right. So what I don't want to do is say this is something yet, because they still have to go. I think this is going to be a very telling stretch. They're going to have 2 West Coast trips before Christmas. One is starting right now. They're going to have some back-to-backs. They're going to play the Vegas Golden Knights. They're going to play the Kings and the Ducks, who have been at least competent hockey teams to start the year. I'm not willing to go there yet. And then they also have a Western Canada trip. I'm just not there yet.
Jim, just keep piling on, because the reverse disco is working so far, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, I think it is a little something. Like, I've been a critic of Dylan Larkin, and he's playing phenomenally. He looks like a top-line center.
Yeah, you've been kind of whispering about, well, if that doesn't go well, should they trade this guy? And he's playing the best hockey of his career right now.
Yeah, I've questioned whether he's the right leader. I question his comments after the season to Steve Yzerman.
Can he be a number 1 center? All of this.
And I'm sure they had an off-season conversation, because they sparred a little bit publicly. And it looks like Dylan Larkin is doing what Todd McClellan wants, night in, night out, but other guys aren't. So do they follow Larkin, and then he truly becomes the captain?
Well, let's call it what it is, too. The issue for this hockey team has not been playing well in the early stretches of the season. Right. So this is, while this is their best start through 10 games, the Wings playing good hockey in the first few months of the year is not a foreign concept.
No, but
the idea that you're going to say it's something, maybe I'm just being unfair. I'm not going to say it's something until we do get to MARCH, until we do see how this team finishes a hockey season.
Well, Larkin's career point total high is 79 in one season. I think it looks like he's getting into the 94, 95 range right now. That makes you a playoff team if that happens, in my mind. So I think there's a little something here. Can he sustain his play, and it will elevate everybody? That's what your captain / leader / best player / is supposed to do.
And this is when it's supposed to happen. He's 29 years old. This is very much like your peak as a hockey player. You are right in the spot where you're supposed to be playing your best hockey. So you guys let us know, something or nothing. We'll take those phone calls and ticket texts. We have our Dan Campbell conversation coming up at 9:35. We also have a winner for our Lions tickets.
Oh, good.
Pete in Waterford.
Well done, Pete.
Want a pair of tickets to see the Lions take on the New York Giants November 23rd and a pair of passes? Don't sleep on it. The Lions VIP tailgate at Eastern Market by the Bullseye Group. It's going to be a 3-hour, all-you-can-eat plus the open bar 3 hours before kickoff. The Lions VIP tailgate is back. Go to bullseyeeventgroup.com for tickets today. John, did you know who the Lion was?
I do.
Was this would you say this is one of the tougher ones we've had? Or did you able to figure it out pretty quickly?
Well, if you can Google, you can figure it out.
Over an hour of
radio?
radio?
You can at least
narrow it down.
Trim down some of the options.
So the first clue was, like John Jansen, I'm in the Hall of Honor at my alma mater, but I didn't play at Michigan. I played for the Texas Longhorns. So who are some Lions that played for Texas?
Well, you have Roy Williams, Bryant Westbrook.
Sean Rogers.
Yeah, Sean Rogers.
Probably some more.
Bobby Lane.
Yeah, I suppose we could have gone all the way back to Bobby Lane. The next clue.
Did he or did he not? Why would you say, oh?
You got to consider it.
That's kind of you going SOL or something here, bringing up the curse. And
he asked.
I know.
The second clue helps you narrow it down. I was a first-round draft pick by the Lions, so take Sean Rogers out of it. We're not doing Bobby Lane, right? Was Bobby Lane out?
Yes, his first-round pick.
Okay, so he's still
third
in
overall.
It. Okay.
Know your history.
You said that with some bite. So
Lions traded him because he never had a 100-yard interception return.
Well, that was your last clue, which would rule out Roy Williams and rule out Bobby Lane and leave only Bryant Westbrook for Name That Lion. And by the way, when I was planning this, you start going down the YouTube rabbit hole. This dude laid people out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was watching a hit he had on Notre Dame back in college.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when you used to be able to hit.
Yep.
Toughness.
And that 101-yard interception return for a touchdown with the Detroit Lions was your final clue. So Pete and Waterford, enjoy the game. You have another chance to win next Wednesday. Name That Lion. Let's get to Heather with the news.
All right, Jim, you wanted an update. I don't really have an update, but I can tell you the story all over again. This mystery alien spaceship could make contact with Earth today. This is the day.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So there are experts, I guess you could call them that. They are experts who believe that this interstellar comet, you see him out there, John? Anything out there?
He's looking out the window.
They say this comet isn't a comet at all. Well, isn't a comet like comets we've seen before, right?
Or is it just
and
a
they
straight
think
up
it's
spaceship?
Exactly. They
Could
think
be.
it's the alien mothership. It's different than normal comets. It's about the size of Manhattan. And today is the day, because this is the day it's actually going to get closest to the sun. And it's going to use that to like slingshot itself towards
All
Earth.
right.
Yeah. And NASA says this object has nothing. It's not going to pose any danger to Earth. It's not a spaceship. It's just some space junk.
People's attention, 3i Atlas,
Yeah.
all over my TikTok feed.
Yes.
It's one of only a handful of interstellar objects to make its way
it's third. Yep.
into our solar system. And its path is unlike anything we've ever seen. Some of the materials it's like shedding aren't what we expect. So it could just be something we've never discovered, or it could be something propelled.
Yes.
What I
by
think is
aliens.
more interesting is the searches that you have that create the algorithm that this is all over your feed.
I had never seen it until
hadn't
literally
either.
today when I
hilarious.
saw this article. I was like, I'll share it earlier. And you're like, I've seen this everywhere. I'm like, you have?
You know what it is?
Right.
Is once you let the video finish, and then if it loops again, it goes, oh, you like this. So it starts feeding you more. And I'm like, well, yeah.
That's what it is.
And I go, so what is this? What is
or
3i
it's
Atlas?
what you type into that search bar time and time again.
Where is the mothership?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to
Send.
see a lot of it
aliens.
now, too. Since
Yes,
I have now, like,
I know.
I keep saying, like, because it's like, when is it going to happen? What time will it happen? I can't find the.
Oh, it's also coming from the direction of the WOW signal from the 70s, the like weird little transmission that came from outer space that we've never been able to explain. It's coming from
It must
John,
be
it
aliens.
could be aliens.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, well, keep your eyes open.
Yes. So there's a fan in critical condition after falling from the upper deck during an NHL game. This is crazy. It happened during the Pittsburgh Penguins game against the St. Louis Blues at the PPG Paints Arena. Happened pretty early on. Fans say that there was a man wearing a Penguins jersey, was stumbling down several stairs before falling into and tumbling head first over the glass onto the level below.
Didn't he fall again?
He did. So first he fell to the level below, which was like a suite level, actually hit another person down there before dropping to another level into the walkway. The fan was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. That's all I know. You don't know what happened. Was he suffering a medical emergency? Was he super intoxicated? Was something else at play? I have no idea.
Well, you think about it, in that same city, the Pirates fan.
Yes, who went over at PNC Park.
Yeah.
Also, he was in critical condition at the time as well. That was super scary.
Yep.
That video made it look like he jumped, but he says he fell.
Maybe he was influenced by aliens. They're already here.
Well, some people do believe that this intergalactic space...
Is it going to mess with our gravity?
It's already sent, probes down, and there's already aliens among us.
Oh,
Yes.
I hadn't seen those TikToks.
That was in the article. There's a unique craft cocktail bar in Midtown Detroit that's closing its doors, but I had never heard of it, but it does sound very interesting. It's a bar that pairs its drinks with different fragrances.
Okay.
Castilia, I think is how you say it, and Sumato, they were paired together. One is like a perfumery. The other was this cocktail bar. So during the day, it was this perfumery, and then at night you could go get cocktails or mocktails, and you get your drink, and it comes with a scent that's supposed to enhance the
very
drink.
Artsy.
It is very intimate. It only holds
it's over
16
my head.
people.
I've been twice.
But it's closing its doors at the end of the year.
I'm sure you're not surprised.
And your favorite scent was?
I don't remember.
Where did you go when it was the perfumery?
No, we went for the cocktails, and you could do a flight, and they'll
sure,
pair them
whatever.
up.
Yeah.
I
think he went
asked
for the
him
perfumery.
Before I really dove into the article, was this the place that he went to make candles? And he said, no, that was somewhere different.
Ha, Jim does stuff with his wife. What a loser. That's Heather with the news. Dan Campbell next, 97.1.
Well, you guys, I've got your tailgate must-have this season. Surfside iced tea and vodka and Surfside lemonade and vodka. They're absolutely delicious and available in convenient variety 8-packs. Each can of Surfside is only 100 calories, 2 grams of sugar, and my favorite part, 0 bubbles. That's right, no carbonation, so you can tailgate like it